That's it. We are live. Today is the 1st of November, girls, 2018. We have Lady Co-Pilot, Roxanne and Sarah with us, and we're all in our pajamas, actually. We're having a PJ party, guys.
T and PJ gang.
TPJs.
Yeah, TPJs.
So, hello everybody in the chat room, and we're on a PJ party day.
Thursday night is PJ night, PJ and T night. I'm loving that.
Love it.
Hello, Karen. Hello, Sarah.
Hello.
Yes. Hello, Roxanne, Lady, and Karen.
Hi.
Hello, everybody else in the chat. Hello, everyone.
Yeah. Massive shouts and hugs to everyone in the chat.
Who is in the chat today?
Yeah, just to explain to people, there should have been a few more ladies, but by accident, like we lost Patricia with her internet. The same with Leisha. She lost her internet pole or something, and it's not being fixed till tomorrow. And Becky was the other one who might have come on, but she had to do an interview. So, and Andrew, that's the Boogeyman channel. Her husband said yes, and she said he didn't know she had an interview. So, but it doesn't matter. 3 lovely ladies on the panel today. Obviously, Lady Co-Pilot comes from Holland, Roxanne's UK, and Sarah's, lives in Scotland.
Love it.
No.
Love it. All over the place we're from. All over.
Yeah.
We're kind of close still.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not that far from you. Probably an hour on a plane, aren't I, Lady?
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah, it's better to fly than it is to drive, I'd say. Up to here it is. I think it's like a 12-hour drive. Down to you guys, I think.
Yeah.
12 hours. Wait, where in Scotland are you? North of Scotland.
Yeah, John O'Groats. I'm trying to think how many hours drive it took Neil to do.
Oh, crikey. You're right up there.
Oh, right up there. That's what he said. Sorry.
No,
I'll try and zip.
What John O'Groats was looking like through the lens of John Smith Global when the tour went up to John O'Groats, and there was literally one person there, Sarah. There was one person.
When was this?
Probably about 10 days ago now, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, tourist season is over.
Really bad weather. There was like one person there, and the only person
no bagpipes, no bagpipes.
None of it. It was almost like horizontal rain as well. An umbrella wouldn't have been because it wasn't coming down.
That's correct.
The only person that was there, Chris UK, managed to speak to them. It was like there was only one.
That. I would have come up and had a couple with them. Would have invited them for a cuppa. People need to say that. If you've got flat earthers coming up this way, give us a shout and come in for a cuppa or tea. Definitely.
Time.
Oh, what a shame! Missed somebody.
Or are you north, Karen? Is she north? Is up there north? Is it?
I don't think it is. I think that I did many experiments with a friend of mine who lives in Scotland, but not where Sarah is, on the other side, and they're sort of, they look more like islands. That part there on the north, south, west side, and we did these panoramas, and in the summer he always had much more light than us. In the winter, it's not quite. It doesn't change so.
Tenerife, and where my son is, his son is. It's weird, but just 400 miles up the road in Glasgow, it's like different. And it's like, wait. I'm speaking to someone in Tenerife, and when my sunset is happening, his sunset's happening. I've looked at his, I've watched his, and I've watched the light outside my window when he's on a live stream watching the sun go down. But yeah, when I video call my dad, and it's like black out there, it's still like early evening looking. You know, in the summer when we get it late, a lot later.
Yeah.
It was like nighttime in London at like 9:30, 9:45, and it was like still light up in Scotland at like 10:30, 11, and I was like, what's going on there?
I also did something else as well. I went to a friend of mine lives in Denmark, right at the top. You have to go to Aalborg Airport, and also I did visit Holland once last year, and I tracked, and I held a compass. And the compass was always saying, like, from Denmark, it said south. I mean, you know that they could be wrong as well, but the compass didn't say south, west, south, anything like that. It just said south, which means that the Denmark's north. But then I thought, I think we're lying on our side. I think the UK lies on its side a bit. It's not straight up. It's lying over.
Oh,
And
like
that's
that. Not
yeah, but the
like
other way, yeah, the other way on the screen, yeah, like that.
like that. yeah. We've got a good point there. That would make more sense with the differentials on the sunsets and sunrises on daylight hours. It would make much more sense.
Yeah, that's what I think. What time is it getting dark for you, Lady Co-Pilot, right now?
Wow. Good question. It's on the weather, of course, but it was dark today. I think, I don't know, I think about 6. So it would be, then it would be 5 at your time, I think.
Yeah, but then it
So-
gets dark. It's been getting dark about. It's dark by about 5:30 now, isn't it here? Since the clocks go back, it was it's about 5 o'clock. It's dark here now.
Yeah, maybe we should do, one day that we, agree to come on the show and we all, do it earlier so we can measure the sunset or what
like that.
moon or I don't know, do some
Yeah.
with our phone cameras and stream it to your channel, and then we can have them together or so with the hours difference or so.
Do you see the sun, or you like us go to get masses of cloud?
Today, today it was sunny, but it was also raining later on. So I don't know. No, wait. I remember because my son had to go for tennis, and that was at 5:15 my time. So it would have been 4:15 your time, and I called the guy and asked, "Is it is it going on because of the rain?" And he said, "No, it's cancelled." So at 5:15, it was not dark yet, but it was raining, but it was not like dark. So yeah, I think an hour later it's dark here or so normally.
Wow. And also, do you know something else as well I found really weird? Because I've got air miles, well, they're not called air miles now, it's called Avios. But if you want to get a flight from here to Edinburgh or here to Paris, like it actually takes a lot more air miles to go to Edinburgh because Edinburgh's further away than Paris. You know what I mean? Like it's actually quite a long way away, Edinburgh. Scotland.
Yeah.
Considering we're so small, I mean, really, well, they tell us we're so small, but I think it's quite a long way. But anyway, yeah, I just wanted to know because Lydia's probably closer to me than you, really, Sarah.
Where's Lydia?
Holland.
Well, how far away is Holland from?
In the middle of Holland, so it's about 45 minutes of flying. But it depends on where you are in the UK. UK is big, of course.
45 minutes of flying. I think it's an hour. I think it took an hour to fly from Inverness down to London. I think could be more. It's a bit weird, isn't it? But then would that not depend on their airplane?
Yeah, it does.
Would it not?
On the airplane and also the traffic. So that's not really, that's not really a measurement because when we fly to from Amsterdam to London, it sometimes takes an hour or an hour and.
So, it could depend on the airplane as well.
So.
Well, to show you how far away Denmark is, it takes about 2 hours to fly there, but only 2.5 to get to where Mallorca and Ibiza is. So that just shows you.
No way! It doesn't take 2 hours to get from London to Denmark.
What is it? An hour and a half then?
Yeah, max.
I thought it was about 2 hours. Maybe it was the time zone. I thought it was a bit further than that because obviously I've been on it a few times.
Yeah. Well, no, it's
definitely south though, or north. It's not where they say it is because that's what my compass said on my phone. I was a bit shocked really because I'd only just got into flat Earth then.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You suddenly notice things all differently when you go on an aeroplane and stuff like that when you get into being a flat earther, don't you?
Yeah, of course.
You do.
Yeah.
I mean, each one of us sort of has our bit in flat Earth, don't we? Lady Co-Pilot, I know you can't say too much, but explain a bit about the gyro.
The gyro is like a spinning. How do you call it? Spinning tool?
Yeah.
Spinning top.
Spinning top.
And it's suspended in gimbals, but it's like suspended in a lot of gimbals, because when you see the videos that are made on flat Earth that are showing the smaller gimbals, they or the smaller gyros, they are just suspended in one or two, and you have to have one extra to be fully suspended. So that's what we use in the aircraft, you know, with so that it can spin in three or it has free motion in 3 axes. And it's once you spin it fast, it stays upright, it stays rigid in space, so it is not affected by any torque on it. So the torque that is, you know, done on the gimbals, of course. So the gimbals are, or one gimbal is attached to the aircraft, so it can, you know, maneuver, and the gyroscope stays, you know, upright all the time. So if the Earth would have been a ball, then when you fly straight and level like we do, then the gap between you and the Earth would, you know, increase all the time, because we fly with this gyroscope. That's our main instrument when you're flying through the clouds and everything, and you don't have an horizon to go by. Then you use your ADI, your artificial direction indicator, or EHSI, is a little bit more electronic. But that's the way to go by. And so then if you follow the gyroscope, the difference between you and the Earth would increase, and of course it doesn't. So the Earth is not a ball.
I like that a lot.
Thank you for that.
It's so easy, you know, but it's difficult to explain like this when you don't have like a little, you know, I can, you know, maybe one day when I'm not, you know, in this position anymore, and I'm just free to talk freely more.
Yeah.
Can't wait for that one.
I can come with my face on and, you know, make a little drawing, or have this thing in my hand and show how it works, you know.
I look forward to it. Sure.
And you have told me before that they don't realise what a gyro is, do they? That's what's the thing. The people, everyone up there around, they don't realise what a gyro is, what it does.
Well, they know, but then they have this talk, and it's and they say, well, it's self-correcting for the gravity and everything. It knows where down is because of gravity, and it self-corrects. But that's bullshit. To go short, there is some sort of self-correction for the how do they call it again? For drift, but the drift is not caused by the rotation of the Earth. The drift is caused by the how do you call it? The friction of the gimbals. So of course it's all spinning like really fast, and of course there is torque on the gimbals and on the gyroscope, but that's just minor, and that you can correct with the airflow, but you cannot correct it for the ground, because it would be impossible. The gravity is not a thing. So.
Like to say I appreciate everything you've done, Lady Co-Pilot, by the way, and big flat earth hugs to you.
Thank you. I wish I could be a little bit more clear about this thing, but maybe I will in the future.
Yeah. And obviously, I'll come back to you in a minute. Sarah, what are you doing in the flat earth world?
You know what I'm doing, Cara?
I know, but just for the people listening in the chat room.
I'm sure they've heard before. Writing some books. I actually had something I wanted to ask you guys and get some help from you guys actually about something. I'm struggling with a word. You see, obviously I've been been writing stories, and it's based on a flat Earth. Basically, it's set in a flat Earth and different planes, and you have different realms and stuff like that. If you could rename the term school, what would you guys call it? So if you could completely make a whole new concept of what you would do, bringing your children up, for example, in a slightly better, I don't like the word system, but obviously children need to sort of be guided through their childhood and then sort of explore the world that they live in and learn. I don't even like the word learn. I hate the word learn and I hate the word teaching. They're just words that really sort of grind on me. So what would you guys, if you could say, okay, make your own, I hate the word system, but that kind of thing up, where you would be comfortable allowing your child to go somewhere with other children in a safe thing, something that they're being stimulated in a free way with the truth, basically. What would you call it and what would you do? What would you sort of your ideal scenario be and what would you call it? Throw me some words. What do you think?
Is that for the chat room as well?
Yes. If anybody's got anything in the chat room, if they say anything, let me know. If they'd like me to use it, that is obviously.
Already Kill the Beast has put something in. Homeschool. Tell them the truth.
Homeschool. Okay, but homeschool would be, you're still using the word school, and I don't like the word school. It's too English. It's too much of it's too constricting. Homeschool, yeah, okay, so you're teaching your child at home, but you're schooling the child, and I don't want to use the word school, teach, or learn. I really want to come away from those three words. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Sarah, very quickly before the panel talk. Sarah, Marilyn says flat truth. Only Right says the sciences. Brent says back to small community and plenty of them.
Yes, yeah, it's fair enough. Yeah, okay. So like a small community school, like a small community place, which is fair enough. You'd be, yeah.
Oh, maybe something like Michael Tellinger has. He has the Ubuntu movement. So, the Ubuntu child gathering.
Inspire. I like that word, inspire. Like that kind of thing. Like inspire. Who's saying that? Inspire.
How about Erudition Centre?
What's that?
Erudition? ERUDITION. Erudition.
EUI. What is it?
Yeah, ERUDITION.
Erudition Centre.
Yeah.
I thought centre was quite a nice word. I did like that. I was sort of mumbling on the word centre. Again, you are coming together, and it doesn't mean. I think somebody else threw another word at me, my editor, and she goes, "What do you think about this one?" I was like, "Nah, don't like that." But centre, I don't think centre's too bad because you're not.
That's right. Erudition is the quality of having or showing great knowledge or learning.
Oh, I like it. I like that. Interesting.
Yeah,
cool.
Great.
Okay.
I like that because of the great knowledge bit. It wouldn't be a false teaching. It would be like handing down from elders, then, wouldn't it? It would be like guidance, enlightenment.
That's what it's about. I think that's what's been lost today in schools.
It would encapsulate culture, intellect, all of those good things.
Yes, I like that. Okay, I'm Nick. Do you mind?
Mind if I nick that?
Can I nick that word off?
Yeah, the plural noun for that is just putting an S on the end of it. You can say eruditions as well. So
eruditions. We could just say eruditions.
Yeah.
Like it. I really like that. Okay, cool. So yeah, that's what I've been doing. I've been writing a book. Back to your question, Karen. Yeah.
What book are you on at the moment then? What number?
Book 3. And today has been a really emotional day. I've been crying nearly the whole entire day writing a specific chapter that I'm doing. Yeah, it's really, really sad. The guy, one of the characters is basic. This is, I'm going back in time, like going back to prior to the war here, and I'm going back to what obviously brought them all to this situation of them coming here to Gaia and then coming into this war and why they came here. So yeah, one of the characters is basically saying goodbye to his family, and he's got 6 sisters and whatnot. And I'm obviously having to take this character through the process of saying goodbye to his family, because he's choosing to go off with his brother basically. And I shouldn't be telling you guys this. I'm completely spoiling the story.
Shut up for a second. I'm like wondering, should I take notes? Do I put a dictaphone on? I'm getting some juice. Wow.
So it's, as I say, every time I went to start writing, I would only manage to get about 3 or 4 lines in, and I'd just be bawling my eyes out. So I had to stop and then go away and then come back. And this happened in book 2 as well. At the end of book 2, I won't say any more than that. And I started writing the end of book 2, and I started bawling my eyes out. So today's been a very emotional day, but my editor keeps saying to me, it's good because obviously you're getting it through to your book. And that is the kind of thing what makes a book is if you can get the emotion across and draw your readers in and make it relatable and understandable.
Real
so
talk.
hopefully,
yeah. Wow.
And obviously,
it's a process, right? As an author, you really have to go. It's a process. It's not just about putting pen to paper and going, yeah. It's not. And as I say, this is it is based on flat Earth, as in planes. We're not even just talking about like this plane Gaia. This is where the main story is happening. But as I said to you, I'm going to branch out of Gaia. So we do eventually, the characters do leave here, and then they go into mid Gaia, and then eventually they will leave mid Gaia and they will branch out. Hopefully the readers will then travel with our characters and just expand their minds slightly. But it's all the other stuff on top of that. I'm trying to keep on top of all the other storylines that are going on. So
just explain to people though what the whole point was, that although the book will be in the fiction side, tell that bit of it, Sarah.
Well, as I say, selling the truth as fiction, I suppose, is that's what I think I always say, isn't it? You've got to be able to, which I think many authors have done in the past, is they sell something as, I'm repeating myself now, as fiction, but then the reader then takes on and are more susceptible to taking it on and actually thinking about it and go, well, actually, yeah, okay, I can accept that. And it just plants that very, very small seed of thinking, oh, yeah, okay. And I will say that there is, I think, my 6, what they call beta readers, nearly all my readers, or who people basically reading my book, have all turned around to me and said it's not their normal read. It's not something they would normally read, but they're all completely hooked on it, which is a good sign. So
resonating with the truth.
Yeah, I like playing with
Sarah's
people.
flat smacking a different way, aren't you, Sarah?
Say that again.
You're flat smacking another way.
Yeah. I like messing with people's mind. It's fun. You have to do it so discreetly, but they're not even realize. It's just like a small part of. It's a small part of it, So it's a small part of the whole.
And also, you felt like you wanted to do the book, but you're also a flat earther as well now. That's why I met Sarah. I saw her on the beach, and I mirrored the video. I wrote to her and said, "Hope you don't mind me mirroring you." And then about 6 months later, Sarah said, "No, of course I don't." And since then, she comes on Sun and Moon sometimes.
Thank you very much, Karen, for having me. I don't know why you have me on. I really have no idea why you have me on, but I'm very thankful. I'm glad that you have me on.
I'm thankful to Karen for having you on as well. Good on you, Karen.
Yeah, I think Sarah's first hangout, she was on with Russian vids. Like, whoa!
Oh yeah, it was. He's a nice guy. I miss Russian vids. He's a nice guy.
Yeah.
Where is he? I'll just like step my foot in it or something.
He's doing a lot of work at the moment because I suppose he's just got to pay bills and things like that. So he's working loads at the moment.
All right, okay.
Big up Russian vids.
Yeah. And
So nice to hear
onto Roxanne and her crusade.
Yes, yes.
Oh yeah, doing some bits at the moment. Where do I start? Don't know where to start. There's lots of stuff going on at the moment that I'm involved with. One being the Globe Lie Tour, which I'm assuming some of you may have heard about already. We're literally just coming into the last couple of days of that now. Got one more day left to go. The guys are in Glastonbury and Yeovil. I've been keeping up with that by doing updates every single night. A bit like Match of the Day, but Globe Lie of the Day, if you know what I mean. Because some days there's been like 10, 11, sometimes 13 hours worth of content that collectively they've uploaded. And I know that we've only got so many hours in the day. So I wanted to try and package up some of the highlights, and not just people that have accepted the truth or know about the truth, a balanced view at, walkaways, people that get triggered, and try and show those stages of acceptance through clips. So that's been taking up quite a bit of my time. Also went out to Speaker's Corner on Sunday, just gone, to talk about the biggest lie ever told and everything else that comes with it. And I was really encouraged to see how many people came out that already know they're not on a spinning ball, and really pleased to say that they've been looking into other subjects as well. Managed to interact with a lot of people on Sunday. The press came out and reported on it as well.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, big time. The press that came out and reported on it as well had actually seen some of the other press bits over the UK reporting on Harry and Jason as they've gone through the country. Their words to me was, "You guys were received really well in Nottingham." And I was like, right, if that's how you guys are perceiving it, that's a good look. That's a good look. The fact that they made that statement, stepped up for the whole day. And it's like being spent the rest of this week following them through with the updates, and now just gearing up and getting ready for the end of tour event on Saturday. That's going to be at Villiers High School in Southall from 4 to 7 p.m. It's a free to attend event, and one come if you know you're not on a ball.
I'm getting a little bit distant there, Roxanne. So are you moving around?
Sorry, no. Sorry, no. Everyone else in the house is. So the end of tour event is on the 3rd of November, Saturday, this Saturday, not tomorrow, but the next day. It's a free to attend event for a few hours in Southall. We're taking over a school for the day, and we're going to unindoctrinate it for the day.
Good.
Yeah, we're more or less going to turn it into an erudition centre for the day, and unindoctrinate people. And the press are going to be there as well, reporting on it. So we want to encourage anybody that can make a pilgrimage to there and put their 2 cents worth in, and show the fact that they're there in person as well.
When is that?
That's on Saturday. Saturday, yeah, from 4 to 7. So we're even encouraging people, look, if you don't live in London, now you've got an excuse to come to London for the day. We want to finish the event and go to a local pub. Let's see how many of us we can fit into one pub. If there's too many of us, we'll just take over every pub on the high street.
So are you doing a little video for it?
Oh, are we doing a little video, Karen? We'll be streaming the whole event.
No, I meant beforehand. If you do, I can put it out on Sun and Moon if you do a little video or something, or a little promo.
Oh, awesome. Yes, please. Yeah, hopefully we've got 2 promos out for it already. There's one on my channel and one on Robin's channel. So I can send you the link to those if you want.
Send me the link. I'll put it on Sun and Moon.
We've got one promo with all the activists in it, and one promo that's got reactions from the general public in it, and loads of information about the event on the description for those as well that you can use as well. So yeah, I'll do that. So yeah, that's where we're at the moment. Saturday is going to be, the event of all events as far as we're concerned. We want to really stress that it's a one day out of the whole year that everybody can put their let bygones be bygones, put all of their differences aside and unify for the common purpose of spreading awareness about the biggest lie ever told. I think we can all do that. If we all just agree that on the common knowledge that we're not on a ball, everything else after that is insignificant. The fact that we know ball is the most important thing. Some of us have got different maps and models, some of us have got different ideas, but the root of that is we know we've been lied to. So that's why we want to try and unify everybody, come together to show that it's not just a few people. There's this massive misconception that it's not a lot of people that know they've been lied to. I have got, I had a hoodie on that I was wearing on Sunday. A few people recognized the image because it was quite a popular image posted on Instagram by quite a popular entertainment artist. And the image says, "Stop believing NASA." And the image had over 2.5 million likes. So I know for a fact that 2.5 million people agree with the post that said, "Stop believing NASA." So I think we can all safely say that the numbers online have been fudged. They're heavily fudging the numbers of people that know they've been lied to. They don't really want to show the hundreds and thousands, if not millions of people that have questioned what they've been taught. So all of this is going part and parcel into the subject being socially accepted. And I'm not just talking about flat Earth. I'm talking about flat Earth, the moon landings, chemtrails, jet fuel hoax, government lying to people, think tanks mugging people off, and the Trilateral Commission peeing up everyone's back and telling them it's raining.
Yes, and Lady Co-Pilot, she doesn't like injections and stuff like that, do you, Lady Co-Pilot?
I'm vaccine free, by the way. I've never had a vaccine in my life, neither of my kids. I'm almost 40 years old.
My oldest did, but my youngest didn't. My youngest two didn't when I found out about them. But she didn't.
My parents were dead against it in the 80s. I didn't have my BCG at school or anything. I've had nothing.
I didn't have that one.
Yeah, I've had nothing. No MMR, no nothing.
How old are you, if I may ask?
Yeah, I was born in 1981. I'm 37.
Oh, yeah, okay.
You're looking good, Roxanne. You're looking good.
That alkaline water, baby. It's that alkaline.
You look, yeah. Yeah.
It's that alkaline.
How come you knew already not to vaccinate? How come you knew already not to vaccinate?
My parents, when I was born down in Chichester, so we didn't live in the capital city at the time. And my dad was very astute with vaccinations, and he always looked, he was a bit of a, I can't really call him a conspiracy theorist, but he used to kind of dissect everything that we were told. My dad taught me about think tanks when I was younger, and my dad used to tell me the think tanks is what society says. They say this, they say that. Apparently, say you should do this. Apparently, aerosols are bad for you. Apparently, this. Maybe that's the wrong example to use, but they have international think tanks for a reason. Those think tanks aren't associated to the governments. Yeah, they're privatized. They're full of, independent people that have classified meetings that they can't come out and talk about. That's exactly what the Bilderberg Group is. Yeah. So with that being said, yeah, the whole 9 yards.
It's good that your parents are already woke then.
They were woke to that. So yeah, for that reason, none of my kids had the vitamin K when they were born. None of them had, and I had their red book that I had to take to the midwife, and I signed more paperwork than I'd had hot dinners. And was, I fully rate the parents that are going through it just now. I know that Ruben and his family, they've had to, go around the whole vaccination scenario at school, and Ruben's been very vocal about that on social media. And showing the letters that him and his partner have showed the letters that the schools have sent. They're very pushy with parents. They try and make you feel like you are social services obliged to do something, or you're harming your kid in some way. Yeah. But we do have to stand up to the establishment. We do have to stand up to them, and we do have to produce paperwork to say, look, if something goes wrong with my kid, you're liable. And see how quick they don't want to put the injection in your kid then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but still the masses don't know this, and they'll go.
Letter in his book. Hasn't Dave Murphy got the letter in his book that you can copy and take? Or is it someone else? No, I think it's Dave Murphy. He's got a couple of letters in there that you can take and go forth. But a lot of people on social media, I know that.
Can I ask? Do people actually get trouble for not vaccinating your kid here in America, here in Scotland and in England? Do you guys actually get like proper stick for it?
Yeah.
Yeah? As in actually get in trouble, as in like if you... I just told him to bugger off, more or less.
Yeah. With my first child, I got a real rigmarole with my first child. She was born in 2003.
Yeah.
However, by the time I had my second child, I was a bit like, I'm a bit long in the tooth for this now. And I had to
So I think they get it. I think they get you with your first, because they know how to word something, and they know how to emotionally blackmail you as a parent, because we don't have any experience. They get you. So once your first is under the belt. So when it came to my second and third, and I came across information, unfortunately, it was unfortunately too late. But then my oldest, he has suffered because of the vaccinations. And even though people will say, oh no, it's just hereditary, I'm like, anyway, moving on. By the second and the third, so my second, which my girl, she only had one vaccination because I was still in this sort of questioning. I was still questioning my own parenting skills, basically. And but after that, I was like, no, I'm not. But because she had one, they were on my back about it a bit. But come the third with my Cody, and they said, oh, back to vaccinations. I just said, no, it's not happening. And I think they only asked me once more after, and it was just, I literally just says, no, they're not having it. And they asked me why, and I literally just says to them, for my own reasons, and I don't want to get into a conversation about it, but he's not having the vaccinations, and that's the end of the discussion. That was literally what I said to them.
Good.
And they did not say anything to me after that, but it was because of the way I said it to them. It was just a case of saying, he's not having any vaccinations. I don't want to get into a conversation about it. I've done my research, and it's just not happening. And they just look at you like, right, fair enough. But I think if you give them an inch of doubt, if you show them an inch of doubt, they'll jump on it. And I think that's what comes with first-time parents. We've all been first-time parents, is you've got so much doubt within your mind of what you're deciding and you're just choosing to do with your child. They jump on every single small thing, and they tell you, I'll give them cow, blah, 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 all the small things that we've all been through as parents. They jump on all of them. Rant over. I'm like I'm ranting.
It's the truth, though.
It is the truth.
And it's nice to hear someone.
Is your child good now?
Sorry, my eldest one who had the vaccinations.
Yeah.
Nope.
No.
Nope.
Have some.
No. I would say it's called what? Actually, I think I saw. My friend gave me a book, or she pointed me in the right direction, and she says if you look at the symptoms for mercury poisoning, and you look at the symptoms for, I'm going to use as an umbrella word, but just say autistic children, the symptoms are exactly the same. So I'm saying that Kieran has got, it's called mercury poisoning, and the way his brain now functions isn't fully at what it should be.
How old is he?
He just turned 11 in September.
I think Lady Co-Pilot understands, don't you, Lady Co-Pilot?
Yeah. My youngest was injured by the vaccination, and he was diagnosed in the autistic spectrum when he was 3. So he got injured when he was 1.5. Mm-hmm. But since I already knew a little bit about it, enough to just stop it, so he did get injured. But I followed a doctor's advice, a homeopathic doctor.
Yes.
And we did lots of high doses of vitamin C, and especially fat soluble. How do you say that? you can. How do you say that? When you can put it in fat. But normally vitamin C you can dissolve in water, but this one is made soluble or so. How do you say?
Soluble, yeah.
In fats. And he got 6 grams of that a day. Yeah, that's really like a lot. And we did some other things with him, and he's fine now. So and that was kind of a process also for years actually, but he is now 14, almost 15, and there's nothing left. Nothing.
Wow.
Yeah.
If I knew there was somebody, as you described, because that's not the first time I've heard of that. You're the first person I've spoke to, but you're not the first I've heard that a child being, if you want to lack a better word, cured of it. And I'm pretty sure there's a few different ways of doing so. Yeah. But if I knew somebody within Scotland, at least within Scotland, not in the UK, within Scotland, I would put money into it, because you say you're not the first person I've heard to treat their child and have positive progress out of it. I did go and see a I'm going to say this correctly. Is it a homeopath? Is that correct way of saying it?
Homeopathic doctor.
Yeah, no, it's a homeopath. It wasn't a homeopathic doctor, it's a homeopath. But it was very on and off because she lived in Inverness, and I literally got to go for 3 months or so. But this is years back, and it just wasn't very successful, and she was, just didn't work, as I say. But
the thing is that I can, what I can do is write down the regime that you should do, and
okay, yeah,
and I can send that to Karen, and then you have it also, because it's quite.
Lady Co-Pilot, would you like me to give Sarah your email address?
Yeah, maybe that's easier.
yeah, yeah, we'll do that, Karen.
I'll do
that. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Always like to help on this channel.
Great, thank you.
Sounds good. I mean, if you've had a positive story, actually, you could probably say, talk me through this. It'd be fantastic to know somebody who's gone through it. Yeah, brilliant. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're very welcome. I always, I'm living now in an area with all small children, and I'm, talking to my neighbors and saying, "Are you vaccinating?" They say, "Yeah, why?" Well, you better, check it out, and they get, upset to me for, addressing this. And the thing is that when I say, "Yeah, but my child got injured," and they say, "Well, yeah, well," and they just walk on, they maybe you have had the same experience. They don't believe it, or I don't know.
Well, I'll pass your email over, and then I'm sure Sarah will be very interested to see what you've got at the regime.
I will be very interested, definitely. There's actually quite a lot of things that can be helped and treated just with vitamins these days. But as I say, pharmaceuticals would not be very chuffed or happy if that information got out. So yeah,
that's the way it works.
So like another one, for example, is depression. Again, I think that's a massive one these days. A lot of people experience it, and it is a lack of. It's not just a mental; it's a physical thing as well. Physical, emotional. I say, there's things out there that people can. Vitamins. It's not just drugs. Vitamins and things like that. So yeah, no, it'd be brilliant to talk to you about that for sure.
Yeah, great.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, and Lady Co-Pilot's quite into all that. She doesn't like vaccines.
Ooh.
No, I'm the health nut, let's say.
I love it.
Very quickly, someone in the chat room, Waking Possum, they wanted to know how many flat earthers do you really think there are, basically? And I just said I don't know, because there's still a lot of people who are very silent, that won't maybe talk to anybody about it, but no. How many people in the world do you think are flat earthers now?
You'd have to know how many people in the world there are.
Well, I think everybody with an internet connection, will subscribe to, let's say, big channels. So if you look at big channels and you see how many subscribers they have, and you put a little bit extra, because I was not into the subscribing thing, and I think some people else maybe wouldn't also, but you see about 200,000 people, and maybe there's 100,000 extra or so. So I think
the only thing I do think about is they are lying. They're making it look like everybody believes in a globe, but they don't. I mean, like the Native Americans don't. There are other native people and cultures that don't. And when you add all them up, we're probably the minority that believe in a globe. Not us, but I mean, they've got us believing in a globe. It's maybe the minority of the world, actually, or it's not most of it. It's just this Western bit, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when you Google 25% of the US population still believes the Earth is flat, it's a very negative, comment or whatever, but it is saying that 25% of the US population believes the Earth is flat. So that's kind of nice, because that's a lot.
What do you think, Sarah?
How many people? I've not got a clue, and that is the honest. Not got a clue. We talk about percentages, or we actually about actual numbers? Numbers? Not got a clue.
It's the percentage, isn't it?
Percentage. I really wouldn't like to say.
What about you, Roxanne?
What was? Can you ask a question?
Well,
Roxanne.
yeah. What is it? Waking Possum just asked how many people in the world do you think believed in flat Earth? What's the percentage? I suppose 25% is a good start. 1 out of 4. They've just been putting that in the chat room.
Okay, so I was talking to Robin about this the other day actually. I was trying to gauge it on people when I've gone out and done activism. So say Doncaster, Nottingham, Leicester, any of those areas, even Speaker's Corner. So even about 8 months ago, when I was going out and speaking to people, out of a whole day of speaking to people, like 30% of the people I spoke to would either be open, know somebody, or already know it's flat. And the rest would just be not on it, like 70% just not on it. Now, when I'm speaking to people throughout the whole day, it's the opposite. It's like 80% of the people either know someone that knows it's flat, they're looking into it, they've heard of it, or they know it's flat. And then it's the smaller percentage, the 20 or 30% that are either completely and utterly triggered and incensed by it and just wouldn't entertain it at all. Mm-hmm. So I'd say well over half the people I speak to in a day when I'm out doing activism, they already know. And like when I watched what happened in Bristol the other day, wow. And Bath, even though there was a few argumentative people, it was like Newcastle was full of woke people. And that had nothing to do with meeting them. They were just people that were walking past going shopping and oh yeah, been looking into that, mate. I already know the moon landings are fake, government lies. And I'm just like, wait. Within 8 months.
Wow.
That's just
that's great.
I can't say for international because I'm not out on the streets internationally, but I'm just saying for even, Brighton was really slow when I went down there with Dave Murphy and he was down there with the Feast Camp when they were having their summer camp. And even though it was incredibly slow, there was still the majority of people had either looked into it, knew someone that looked into it, or knew it for themselves. So
amazing.
Just to say in the chat room, Leah says everyone lives on flat Earth, whether they know or believe.
Yeah, that's correct.
We're all flat earthers by default, aren't we? Because we're not living on what they've taught us we're living on. That much we know. Might not know what it is, but we know it's not what they taught us it is. Definitely not that.
I heard something very interesting the other day. I don't think he'll mind me saying. I actually didn't realise. I mean, I knew he was something. He's retired. One of the jobs I've got, he's actually a nuclear physicist or in that line. And he was trying to convince me about gravity. And he's going, but you're not listening. And I'm going, no, I don't want to because it doesn't exist. Not like that. Anyway, but he did say to me one thing I found very interesting. He said that this nuclear stuff, it was never as bad as they said it was, like what it could do to the people. But what they decided to do was say it was because they were trying to put it in more of it in bombs. But he said that they all knew that nuclear is not as dangerous as they said it is. But they decided not to go that way because, as I say, they were thinking of putting everything into bombs. I mean, he's 80 something, so he was around at the end, like the wartime. So I thought that was interesting.
That's not the first time I've heard that. Yeah, that's not the first time I've heard that.
Yeah, I've seen this guy and he put it in his mouth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the one.
Have you seen that video too? Yeah,
I've seen that video. And there's a lot of people who work at like some of the plantation. I think it's the only word that comes to mind then, like nuclear farm.
Mm-hmm.
They say it's not as bad as they make it out to be. So.
But they've made us totally in fear with it. I mean, I still can't get over Fukushima. Japan is having tsunamis, all over the place, all the time. And they build these things on the beaches. I definitely wouldn't want to live on a Japanese beach for sure, or even anywhere in Malaysia, really. They get
another one
regularly. No, I'm just saying they regularly get them. Yeah, they don't get
No, I was gonna say another one I've heard of them lying about making, as you just said, like nuclear bombs and how bad it is. is oil, and how they're making it out to be nearly running out and stuff. But in actual fact, it's not. And there's just tons and tons and tons of it. And it's never ever going to stop, obviously, because they're making it out to be fossil fuel made out of dinosaurs. When in actual fact, sorry, when I was trying to give a straight face and I was trying to be serious, guys. Come on.
It's the way she tells them. It's the way she tells them.
Now, if we are all in agreement that dinosaurs weren't here, what are we pumping out of the ground? And why is it still coming after God knows how many years of them telling us? That's just something that I came across one day, and it was just kind of like a light bulb in my head. And I was like,
I did learn one thing, because there's this whole thing about gas and British gas and all that kind of stuff. Actually, like the poo factories, that's where our gas.
What? Sorry, what?
Oh, we've lost Lydia. Oh, I know what's happened. Oh, I've said her name. Anyway, yes, her internet turns off at 11, and she's an hour ahead of us, so she's just.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah. Damn, I was going to ask her, because she's going to see Michael Tellinger. She's coming over to meet him and go to one of his seminars. Yeah. So I was going to ask her about that, but she's gone now.
She's gone.
Yeah. What were we saying? Oh yeah, the poo factories. They take, all the gas. The gases comes from that.
Right. Okay.
They're turning our poo into gas. They just don't tell us.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Where did you hear this? Where did you hear this?
Yeah, on obviously YouTube, but talking to a few people. Yeah, they turn our poo waste into, because of the gases from it, and they turn that's what we're using as gas.
You're kidding.
Yeah. So it's not just out of the ground. You watch the chat room or something, go, no, it's not. Let's have a look at the chat room.
I'm true.
Yeah, anyway, that was a nice bit for you. On our PJ party.
Yep, not heard that one. That is a new one on my camera. I can't say I've heard that one, actually. Right.
Anyway, Sarah, before I went live, I was, because obviously I was looking through some of the Hangouts just to make the trailer for today. I don't know if you saw it, Roxanne. You were in there. Sarah was in there.
Didn't see it.
And you were talking about the fact that you were telling your mum. Do you remember that story? And what story?
You'll have to nudge my brain. What did you read? What was the one you watched?
You were telling your mum, and a bit about your explanation was, well, everybody's watching the television, and you have to live by your own senses. You remember that one? Okay,
so that's probably going on there.
It was actually on the Russian vids hangout, that one. Okay. That's when you said it, but it was very, I like what you said.
So that would have been about the fact that we are told to trust our senses. We've got 5 senses, 6 senses, some of us, if you want to tune into your, your higher senses or whatnot. But I always turn around and say how can you trust your senses? Especially now it's even proven even more to us, especially with all the computer gear we're geared up today. I've never tried them. The things you put over your head, with your eyes and your ears, and the gaming things today, and actually makes you think that you're there. People can actually be tricked to thank you very much. Yeah, virtual reality. Now, if you can trip your senses into that with just your eyes and your ears and whatnot, that is just today. That's what is now, what we're seeing. And we are expected to think that we've only been around for so many years. That is complete balls, in my opinion. So it only takes a little bit of imagination to actually really think, what is there? So then I always say, can you actually trust your eyes? For example, I definitely don't trust my eyes, far from trust my eyes. I've said to you in the past, Karen, if people have heard of hypnagogic visions where, you get into a state of mind when you're falling asleep and you're in a half state of sleeping and awake. It's that sense, I'm sure most people have experienced that sensation of falling. when you're going to sleep. That
Yeah.
it's that period of time where you're on the verge of falling asleep. Well, I then will open my eyes and I can see stuff, and I genuinely think it took a while to get my brain to catch up, but yeah, I see a lot of stuff. So that's my eyes, and you want to say it's playing tricks on you. Now, you just had a conversation at the very beginning, and you were saying about looking at the pyramid, wasn't you, Karen, from like a distance, and it making look. What was she saying? What she saying about that?
Well, what I was saying was, I was with Flat Earth Darb, and I was with Costa. Obviously, Costa's been on our panel. But when we were standing at the fence with a plaque looking at Silbury Hill, there's a field between the plaque and the pyramid. But when we walked back to the car, which was, I don't know how many, few hundred feet, 300-400, maybe, I don't know, maybe even a quarter of a mile, we could see. And we could see the people standing now at the plaque looking over the field. But the pyramid suddenly gained, like, it had grown twice the size it was.
So it's like perspective, right? So our eyes, we don't even understand how our eyes work. We don't even understand them. Although I've just realized that our eyes are actually a muscle, and you can, all the amount of writing I've been doing, I've actually strained my eyes. So my long vision is now deteriorating. That's what my friend now thinks. So our eyes are a muscle. That's what she says. And if you overstrain it in one way, it's going to get weaker in the other. So if we aren't using a specific muscle within our eye, then how are we actually seeing everything that's going on around us, for example? But as I say, I'm now probably using a certain part of my muscle within my eye when I'm falling asleep. And so I may be seeing different, maybe I'm not, maybe it's just complete nothing. So do I trust my eyes? Bottom line, no, I do not trust my eyes. Our ears, if we know that there's a spectrum of sound that we can't hear, we know that for a fact. You can't say that we can trust our ears completely. So that's your eyes and your ears. Our taste buds.
Sometimes, Sarah, sometimes you don't notice things, and other times you notice everything.
Yeah. And like our taste buds, another one, I think they've been hijacked. They've been hijacked from such a young age to not taste certain things or to look for certain things. So you've got your eyes, your ears, your taste buds, your nose. Our actual senses are completely, they're not what they should be. They've been dulled down. So if we're then being told visually through a TV every single day that this is the world that you live in, you're going to accept it visually through a TV. If you then turn on a radio and you listen to what you're being told through a radio audibly, and the conversations that are going on around you when you're in school and work around people, you're going to believe it. Your eyes, your ears, and your senses are being bombarded with this information to the point that you can't deny it. So have I gone off my tangent again? So yeah, that is what I think is very, 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 it's why you have to question everything all the time. And even language is one of what I'm trying to punch through right now, is this language barrier, and trying to, as I said at the beginning, with this school, and there's certain words that I really hate using, and I try to sort of break them down. Another one is the fact that we have morning, noon, afternoon, dinner, and night. The word morning, I think I came across that from somewhere, I can't remember. But you've got mourn, which means to be sad about something. Yeah. So if you wake up, you're mourning for something. So you're not. It's not the morning. You're mourning. You're mourning for a loss of something because you've lost sleep. That kind of thing. So it's a play on words. And then you have the various different parts of the day. So I'm just trying to break these words down when I'm writing, and I'm just rewriting my own language, which is something we can actually relate to without using these specific words that I really don't like. Because as I say, our senses, our ears, when we hear certain words, we think we're hearing one word, but we're not. Our ears are actually hearing something else, but we just don't realize it.
So what you're saying is, with all your writing, you're starting to really think about every word that you use because of it.
You really do, yeah. Yeah, I really do. Yep. Especially, as I say, I'm actually writing a new language itself. It just sort of comes to me. I'm actually writing a language, and there'll be actual whole chapter on a language that this one particular character uses. So it's not English in any sense. There's no English to it. It's just words.
Sarah, what have you done?
What?
I said, Sarah, what have you done? New language.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, because I'm trying to break this. I'm trying to break down what this construct that our minds have been squished into this small space. When I'm just wanting to crack down every single wall and construction and constriction, basically, that there is, which is that we live on a ball, we're alone, and that we don't have the ability to break out of this. And the only way I can see doing that is through an imagination and enlightening people's minds and thinking there is more out there. And the more aware we become of it, hopefully we can stretch on. I seriously always think I'm blabbering on when I go on like this.
No, Sarah, you've done very well.
Yeah.
It's nice to hear you talk and come on Sun and Moon.
Passionate. Yeah, I'm very passionate about this. It's why I'm writing it. It's why I'm writing it, because I'm very, very passionate about it. So.
Yeah, well, thank you for that. And like, when does the first book come out?
April.
Yeah, you'll have to come on Sun and Moon and talk about that then when you're starting to.
I'll get you all on my author page anyway, and you can follow me on that for sure.
Cool.
Very good. But they say the first book isn't sort of as deep as the rest of the books, but yes, it is. Yeah. That's what I think. That's why I don't watch TV very often. I don't mind watching programs and films and stuff, but it's bad.
No, I don't watch telly anymore. It doesn't mean the same anymore. I don't have time for telly. I'm always doing something else.
You know what? I actually did start watching. It was just because my sister was going on and on and on at me, and it was really weird to start watching a program with an open mind. It was called Bodyguard, right? Has anybody else watched it out here? You three, two.
No.
It was just about this. The starting of it was about this terrorists, and they hijacked the train. And when you've got a slightly open mind to realise that most of these things are just, that what we are told are terrorist attacks and things like that, it makes you stand back and look at a film or a document or a program that they're trying to portray, and they're trying to reinforce this way of thinking. And they make it this. They said they've made a program out, they've made films out of it and things. And I said this to my sister. I said it's very, very clever how they're doing it. They're trying to they're making more and more money out of this terrorism idea of hijacking trains and hijacking things like that.
I know, yeah, because now it's like we all used to probably watch Jeremy Kyle. Well, now I realise that nobody can get on with each other, and everybody's arguing, trying to kill each other.
Oh dear.
He's not there. It's not there to, I know a lot of people might laugh at it or you watch it as entertainment, but really in your psyche goes in, no one can get on with each other. No one's the father of anybody's child. And, it was all doom and gloom. That's what I mean.
Yeah, for sure.
So I can't watch that anymore.
Oh, that was my nan used to watch that. She used to laugh at that. That was funny. But Jeremy Kyle, Jesus.
I can't really watch it anymore. And you think, the news. Let's turn over now.
Oh, I know.
But I live on the internet, don't I? So it's almost another way. If I'm not like working, then I'm making videos or having hangouts.
Yeah.
You're always writing, and Roxanne's a crusader.
I like that.
You funny, Karen.
You are
funny. It is what it is. It is what it is. It is what it is, and it ain't what it ain't. Big time.
Anybody like the Dark Nights then? Because I don't.
No, I hate them.
Really, I hate them. Horrible.
Dark mornings and dark nights.
Oh.
The only thing I can say positive about that is actually seeing the stars at night, I think, again. But then I don't know if you guys probably see them as much as I see them up here. That's the only thing.
I've lived in the country, so I know what you mean. When it's when there's no clouds, you look up and there's thousands of them.
It is up here. It is up here. It's stunning.
You know, when you live
Absolutely
in a
stunning.
town, you just see the main ones, but you go into the countryside, it's like you don't need lights because the stars light up the sky.
I know. It's beautiful. It is beautiful, as I say, and the moon as well. So
what time does it getting dark for you, Sarah? Now then,
it is getting dark around. I was going to say 6, but no, it's before 6. I think it's around 5:30. I'd have to double check that.
Yeah, that's what it was for me today. So now you're back on the same time as us then. Isn't that weird how...
No, it could have been before. I don't really take notice. This is mad.
Do you know what, though? Denmark, that bit where my friend lives at the top of Denmark, the little slither that sticks out, and it's called, like, Skagen. She lives in this little slither of land which sticks out the top. And I saw the midnight sun there. I saw it in the sky. And that levels out to about Newcastle. But you don't see the midnight sun, do you, in where you are?
The midnight sun, did you say?
Yeah, what I mean is, you may not necessarily quite see it, but you'll just see it going on the horizon.
Oh, yeah. In the summer.
Do you? Yeah. You see it. You see it as well.
If you're in Orkney, I've seen it. I've seen it in Orkney. I can't say I've seen it here because I've never stayed up the whole entire night. In Orkney, where my mum lives on, she did a tiny little island on Stromsey, literally just a couple of hundred people. Yes, you can actually see the sun skims the horizon. It does not set. It does not disappear. You see the sun. It never gets dark.
Where was it going, Sarah?
Oh, God, don't ask me that. I have no idea north, south, east, west. My daughter does. I don't know.
No. I mean, when you were standing there, which direction was it going?
No idea. I could not tell you that. No, it was too long ago.
I actually saw it going left to right. I saw it going across the sky, left to right.
That's my mum. She'll tell me.
But that's the complete opposite. It should be going... Sorry, it was going left to right, but everything for us goes right to left.
That is pretty beautiful. It's nice. It is.
So that's so back to what Roxanne was saying at the beginning. It must mean that Aberdeen, where England is lying on its side. It must be a bit,
or halfway there at least. Do you know what I mean? I don't think it can be as directly north as it is because it just doesn't make any sense from what we're observing. Daylight and daylight times and stuff.
I'm glad other people picked that up because I've been talking about this off and on for a long time, especially, when I used to do these panoramas with Malk, my friend who lives up in Scotland, because it's such a difference.
When you look at the size of the UK as well, do you know what? Even more recently.
Yes, we're so small, so why would we get such a difference?
Yeah, exactly. Even more recently, I was on a video call with Harry and he was sitting in his garden. And this was like couple months back in the summer, and it was late, and I was out in my garden and I had the lights on in my garden because it was pitch black, and it wasn't pitch black where Harry was. I could completely still see the whole background of his garden, and I could still see the blue sky, and it was like pitch black nighttime in London, and Harry's not even as far north as you, Sarah. He's like near he's in Edinburgh.
Yeah, that's not that far.
Like that's like 400 miles apparently north. Apparently, it's 400 miles north.
And then if you're in America, from the summer to the winter, and even Australia, not all parts of America, but places will say the difference between summer and winter, the light is only 2 hours. But for us, it's not. It's hours and hours. People may not realise we're not as north as Norway and all that to get a 24-hour sun, but in the summer, because I never realised the last bit of light goes about 11:30, and then the light's coming at 3:30 in the morning. So in the summer, we don't really get much dark either here.
No.
But how can it change so much, such a small distance away in perspective of everything else? How does that happen?
Exactly.
Crazy, isn't it? We live in such a crazy place.
It is. Yeah.
Do you really even know where we live? Really?
No.
In the bigger scheme of things, how much do we still really know about where we live? I think we probably just know more about what it's not.
Like the land,
about
the actual,
the topography, the whole 9 yards, the population, all of it, just all of it. I don't know how much to buy into any of it.
So when you're trying to stretch your mind outside when you try stretching your mind out of that ice ring, as they like to call it, what stretching your mind out of there, what goes on out there, that's when my mind starts getting a bit sore.
Well, yeah, that's the same for me too.
Really?
I like how you described it as sore. It's like I get brain hurt. It's like my brain starts to shut down, like my laptop when it's like not coping with things. You know, when you've got too many tabs open and your laptop just stops working and your mouse stops moving across the screen, and you realize what's happening next. You're gonna have to turn it off, right? Because it's not happening. That's
Do you think it's
like my brain.
Do you think it's because like you wake up, you learn more stuff, and you think, wow, all that, and you think, wow, and then like the next day, what? There's more and more and more and more. And in the end, you don't know. But that's why you have to remain open, unfortunately, right now, all of us.
Yes.
No matter what piece of land you think it is, the whole thing, we have to remain open because there's probably still more to come. Information. And like we're only at the beginning of this like awakening again, aren't we?
Yeah, well said. Well, so even now, my brain's just going off on one.
I know, same. My dad's the same.
I have to say,
it sounds like I just pause, but it's like my brain.
No, it's not. No, my brain goes up into a fan, and I'm like, well, that's good. But I always try and think what goes underneath as well. You know, you've got to go stretch outwards.
Yeah.
I did see a video today, though, girls. It was actually on Mark Sargent's channel. Somebody has a mirror, and then 14 miles away, someone else is standing, and they could see the glint from the mirror.
Yeah.
On the beach. I think that's a really good way of going. If people do mirroring, get a mirror, and then someone, if they can do it, stand a distance away. And then,
have you seen Dr. John D, his channel? Have you seen his? Has anyone in the chat room? Dr. John D. He's based down in Worthing, just on the south coast. Yeah. He's got all his accreditations up on his channel and stuff. He's fully fledged. He's been making some long distance observations from sea level. One of his latest ones, over 45 miles. 45 miles he was able to see. From one part of the south coast to another part. I think it was from Selsey. Yeah, I think he made an observation from Selsey Bill to the I-360 in Brighton.
Hey, sorry, just to change it a bit, I've stayed many a night in Selsey, Roxanne.
That's near where I was born. We used to live near down there.
There's a holiday place there. I can't remember what it's called now, but they have 3 parks down there. And they're actually the biggest. They're the biggest park. They're the biggest campsite in Europe.
They are. I think one of the most beautiful. You've got West Wittering Beach, which, as far as I'm concerned, I think is probably one of the most beautiful beaches in the whole of the UK. I don't know. There's something very idyllic about that beach. It does something to me when I go there. Down in West Sussex. Just down in West Sussex. Yeah, beautiful. There's some beautiful coastline down there, actually. To come to think of it, it's gorgeous. But yeah, there's people making observations from left to right over 45 miles down at the bottom. Did I say down at the bottom? I need to get those words out. Those words annoy me. Down at the bottom. The bottom of what? The country, because it's south. Do I know that? I'm not sure I do.
I struggle with this all right. I went to Holland last year to support the more northern part of Holland. Can't remember the name of the airport now. But they said it would take an hour and 10 minutes. And we did it in half the time. Wow. How does that happen when it's
exactly
miles away? How does that happen? You could have said 10 minutes, but on an hour and 10 flight, that's still quite a difference, isn't it? Even 10 minutes. And someone said, oh, it's to do with the whole thing with like if there's, they include stoppages of any time if you've got problems, like take off. It's printed everywhere, 110 minutes. I went from a little airport in Southend. I went from that one up to Holland. And but it still did it in 30 minutes. I was like getting into this and they said, well, fasten up, we're landing. And I was like, what?
Wow.
So I don't understand that. And it wasn't that long coming back either, but it's about 400 miles from Southend. We did it in half an hour.
Just half an hour?
Yeah.
So the only thing I can think of is the airplanes.
This was a propeller plane.
Although me saying that is complete and utter BS because you know, I don't know what drives airplanes. They probably run on unicorn farts or something. So God knows.
I thought it was really funny because on a propeller plane, when you actually take footage of it, all the propeller blades look bent and wonky. It's just so funny. I'm just thinking, oh, it makes you laugh. It's so funny. That I think that's the other thing as well is how low the clouds are. I don't think people realise how low they are. It takes seconds on an aeroplane to go above the clouds. I mean, 20 seconds, 10 seconds or something. They're really quick. You'll go through the clouds and they're not very high. I think that's the thing that really shocked me when I realised how low the clouds were. Maybe not all clouds, but a lot of clouds are really low. Crazy.
I was going to ask you girls, how since you've woken up to certain things, not just the fact that you've been lied to about where you live, everything that you've discovered to pertaining to the truth, how have you coped over the years kind of departmentalizing how much your conscious has been expanded by the knowledge that you've gained as a result of coming out of the indoctrination? How have you girls gone about processing that? And because one thing I find is that my language doesn't stretch to the amount that I've learned about my reality, and I
know what you mean. You understand it when it goes all in, but just say
articulate it.
You can't articulate it all back like you've heard it. Yeah, I understand.
Yes.
How do you go about processing? Yeah, how have you gone about over the years? Departmentalizing that and then moving forward.
Karen.
Oh, thank you, Sarah. Well, I don't know. I don't know. I've been such a sensitive person all my life that I knew there was something. I just did because I'm just so sensitive. Then I got into psychology and realised through that side of it, through my own life not working out, that's why I got into it. And I did a couple of counselling courses and stuff like that. It made me realise even more that a lot of people don't trust themselves. That's why you go to counselling, because you don't trust your own feelings. So it's part of that system, but that's just a part of it. And then 9/11 and all that, 3 years on 9/11, that when Flat Earth came along, I don't know, it didn't take me that much to process it at all. Suddenly, once I sort of was like, oh my God. And then the hardest bit to process is people who trust you as their mum or friend or whatever it is, don't suddenly trust you at all. That's the bit I find hard. It's not the information I've understood. It's how people react around me, or if I try and tell someone. They usually go, no, they start shouting or something. And I just think, whoa. But yeah, it's not about, I don't know. All of us here are trying to help in Flat Earth. So well, it's like a beacon for you. Even if you want to put the thing down, you can't, can you? And if you're not out there every day doing something, you feel, I'm not doing my bit.
Yep. Right. You're absolutely right. Yeah.
But processing it's a bit like everything I thought has changed. My whole world's changed. But it doesn't matter because it had to be. And I'm just hoping there's going to be more awake people, more sensitive people, more people just going to come out and we can, and it's a conscious thing. I don't know if I can put it into words, but consciously, when you wake up, people are different. They don't worry about their egos. You don't even talk about these things.
Correct.
It doesn't even enter your head. It does these things just. So I'm just hoping that the world turns a bit more like that. You can't make anybody do. So the only thing you can do is, you've woken up, is to hope that other people are there on the journey with you. It's a spiritual journey, I think.
You see, I think must have been late teens. I could have been mid. I don't know. I'm trying to put a figure. I've tried my hardest. Try to remember one of the first things that came to me, as in waking up, I suppose you'd call it. I must have been in my teenage years, and I will admit it, smoking pot. Back then, not sure how much good that did back then, but anyway, I remember sitting with my friend and her brother. We just had these deep conversations, and they were they tried to filter what they would speak about around us, but they, obviously as time went on, they would become more open about stuff, and that I would say, as I say, that was quite a young age. a teenager to have your ears and eyes opened at such a young age. And they would talk about a lot to do with David Icke stuff. I mean, this was way back. I mean, I'm 30 now. We're talking when I must have been 14, 15, maybe. No, we're probably talking back in 16 years old, you know, talking about 15 years ago. So they would talk about that. And I started looking into it, this David Icke, briefly. I mean, as a teenager, you know, you don't really go into it, but you're aware of it. And as I say, the world did, for me as a teenager, look very different to how the other teenagers saw the world around them in school. I was aware of this bigger picture going on about the government and the TV and what was going on around us and this system that was in place. But all the other teenagers were going around their normal day-to-day life as if they had no idea. And I tried having a conversation with a boyfriend at the time. He just thought I was mad. Obviously, he just looked at me as if I was nuts. And I couldn't have this intellectual conversation, or just not an intellectual conversation. That's not a very nice way to. I couldn't have this deep conversation with somebody, and it isolated me to the point where you can only form deep relationships with people that you could actually open up with. So I would say at that age, it was a slight hindrance, but again, at the same time, it opened my mind up to be able to have bigger conversations with more mature people. And then I dropped it. At one point, as I say, then it got to a point where I just dropped it. I just forgot about it because I was wanting to move on with my life. And I thought, you know what, I'm not even looking into it anymore. So I let it go. I didn't even think about any of this, what was going on around me. I just tried to live a normal life. But you can't really hide from it, can you? We all know you can't hide from it. And then it would sneak up again. My brother, I think I spoke about my brother in my videos, haven't I, Karen? And he would decide to one day come along and go, oh, Sarah, you've got to look at this. You've got to have a look at this. And he would come up with some information. And then he would say, oh, he would bring another name into it. And over the years, that's what's happened. Huh?
Hey, Sarah, also, Roxanne, Sarah lives on the beach.
Oh, wow.
She found out it was a bit like in one of the hangouts, she said, or even her video, I can't get away from it, even if I want to.
You can't get away from it, man. You can't.
Staring you in the face. Staring you in the face.
So I'm lucky. I'm very lucky to have an open-minded family. I'm from a big family, and they are an open-minded family. But even the only other person in my family, and I've got a big family, is my brother. Every single other person, I've got my sister who's going into shamanism, which my grandfather, he was a shaman. Even she won't look into it. She thinks it's stupid and she thinks it's hilarious and she just laughs at it. My mum, again, she's very, very open. She's at what you call like a pagan, I suppose you say. She wouldn't even look into it. And these are people that are very spiritual, open-minded people. My other sister, she's what you'd call like she looked into Buddhism. You know, she's not just that, but she's very, very high-spirited, open-minded, loving people. But they will it's just too much. And I think it's breaking this barrier down. And I was going to come around to the fact is, you know, even when we say we've woken up, there's still this barrier that I think we need to get across is just because somebody hasn't come to that realization yet, you know, blocking them off and going, oh, well, you're stupid. It doesn't mean, you know, that's sort of shutting them out. And I've learned at least, I think I'm hoping I have, is to just go, you know what, they're just not ready. Their minds just aren't ready. And that's okay. Just don't be in my way. And would you please get out of my life because you're pissing me off with your arrogance. That's the only thing I think that gets my nerves is arrogance. But I don't like shutting them out. You know, you're just sort of this sort of snowball effect of negativity that can sometimes happen. So I try to pretend I'm not about, but I think it's a very hard balance between remembering everybody lives in the same place and we all need to move in that same direction. And this war that's been fought over our minds, I suppose. I really feel like I'm blabbering on, Karen. I swear to God.
Marty Kenny the other day said that a lot of people maybe like their spirituality is immature. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I remember trying to tell my mum, by the way, a couple of months ago, like, Mum, all right. And she went, no, we're not. I know we're living on a ball. I know we're living on a planet. And I was like, Okay, then. Well, we're not going there. Then that's something else I can't talk to them about either. It's just another list of things I can't talk to my parents about. My mum believes the planes went in the Twin Towers as well, so where my parents are.
Yeah. As I say, it's to say, even though we think we're, and that's why I try to keep my mind open, guys, is I don't like to put this regimented thought as, well, I know everything. I know that this is what we do, because I don't know. And I think the sooner, the minute I say, I know this is truth, I know that someone's going to come up and bite my ass and go, no, it's not. So I just try and keep an open mind as much as possible and listen to what people are saying. Not take it on board and believe them, but listen to what they're saying, because you just never know when that next truth is whispering in your ear, you know.
But you know, sometimes it's a bit like someone might say something and you go, oh, and then you suddenly see someone else is saying it and someone else.
Yes.
And it might change your point of view. Can I just ask, what about for you then, Roxanne?
Yes, sorry, Roxanne, your question. Let's turn the question back on Roxanne.
Yeah, I think for me, I've at times I've struggled with it. I'm not going to lie. I've struggled with, you know, coping with the expansion of I would say knowing, but I don't mean knowing. I'm in full agreement with you girls. I don't pontificate to know anything, but it's knowing what it's not.
Yes, that's a good way of putting it, Roxanne.
Yeah. And Karen, you said it earlier on, like you absorb something in one day, you think, that was a lot. That was a lot today. Go to sleep, you wake up the next day, and then Karen, you must relate to this, right? Because you have conversations with people like Mr. Thrive and Survive and Crow 777 and a lot of other, you know, prominent people in the truth community. The amount of times you must have been blindsided by someone saying, listen, guess what, you know, this what came to me today, such and such and such and such. And you must have come out of conversations where you've been blown away by something that someone said. And for me, it's a little bit like that. I've come across subjects, I've then dissected subjects. People have come to me with things, as we all have. I'm no different from anyone else in that sense. I've just gone through windows in my life where, in the last few years, I've struggled at parts to maintain acknowledging all of that, digesting it, absorbing it, but then still having to do what everyone else does and keep the roof over our head and be a part of the system, even though we don't consent to it. It was almost easier to do that when I was asleep. What the eyes and ears have seen and heard can't be unseen and heard, right? So there's no going back. There's no purging yourself of the new understanding. The purge isn't going to happen. That's it for the rest of your life. Once you wake up. I have to say
there have been a few hangouts in the past. Maybe a couple of them have even been Santoses, where people have been on the hangout and the whole hangout almost wants to cry because of the information. And the thing is, you can feel that everybody's almost gone, like, they've almost gone in themselves and felt this very emotional thing. And I don't know whether you girls do, but you could feel people through the hangouts. It's different. Feel each other, know things. And you've had moments where afterwards you just thought, whoa, it's like, where do we go now?
Totally. It's just,
it wasn't
a lot.
Yeah, it's not just about those words. That's the sad bit that the non-believers don't realise. Okay, you can use the words flat earth, whatever you want to say, flat earth realm. It doesn't, it's not just flat earth or flat earth. It is so much.
Yeah, I think we've set a rod for our own back, to be honest, because the terminology flat earth is so stereotypically labelled now. Some people are just shut off to looking into the subject because they hear the words flat earth and they've labelled it because, and I say they, and that goes back to the think tanks again. It's what's pumped out to the masses to socially accept, and it's socially accepted to think people that think they live on a flat plane of existence are lunatics. And I think
the thing is, we've understood that it incorporates everything.
Yes.
The lies, the matrix, the health, the education, 9/11, the moon landings, what we're living on, history. Oh, it goes on, politics, the whole thing.
Yeah,
it's everything.
Yeah, I think maybe we should probably, it maybe be better to classify ourselves as realists. Because people say, oh, you flat earthers, you're a bunch of conspiracy theorists, you don't believe this.
It's not a conspiracy. It's not a conspiracy.
It's not a conspiracy, and it's not a belief either. I think that those are the things that we need to get out there into the public. It's not a belief.
Don't you think it's really strange though? I still just think this is really weird. When I used to think the sun was 93 million miles away, it looked it, you know, I used to sometimes think, that's 93 million miles away. And now I look at it and I think, but you're only miles away, and it is only miles away. And I know it's only, what happens there? See how bad the programming was. Oh my goodness. I mean, we were all in the program. It's just that we're not now.
Yep.
Exactly.
Well, we have to be in it a bit, don't we? Because we have to live in it and work in it. But yeah, we're not as well.
No, going back to what you're saying, Roxanne, I do actually understand it's this balance of trying to live in this ordained world where we do need to get by in this societal structure that we live in, because we have to.
It's governed, isn't it?
You have to.
I mean, if you want to walk away from this, you can't. There is no. We're in prison. You cannot walk away. You can't walk away. No. End of story. It's not happening. You can go off grid to a certain extent, but you're still under the governing rules of the local governing body of the land that you're living on. Even if you do own the land, you're still in a country that's governed.
And I think I get the impression it's a case of that struggle of you have to live on, you have to carry on. And there's a certain points that you find. I think one of the biggest, worst points I came across was when I believe that this was before I really woke up, and there was a few times, you know, there's this aliens and the moon and all this, and it got so much from my head. And this was the case. I was filling my head with crap back then. And your head is filling with all this information, basically just stories, other people's stories, or what they think, you know, what their truth is. And you'll fill it with so much information, and then you've got to go back to this reality and this normal life. And there was a few times I couldn't, and that's when I would say that I was getting depressed from it, which is not good. But it's because you're waking up and you're pulling out of this EastEnders life. I'm sorry if you want to watch my EastEnders here, but you're pulling out of this EastEnders life, or whatever you want to call it, this rigid life, and actually seeing the world as a bigger picture. And your brain can't cope. Your brain can't cope between living your old life and living in the future. Yeah, I've struggled a few times. There has been, and I think it's
been designed like that. Don't you agree? I think it's been designed so that if you do wake up to this, the invisible picket fence prison that we live in, I think it's been designed so that you can't socially cope with knowing that and still living in this reality.
So perfectly true. I haven't had better words.
I think it's
so true, Roxanne.
Because it's so, like we've talked before, it's so narcissistic out there, and there's so many. I was a really social person. I had my own social club. I used to go out to the pubs. I didn't drink, but we were out in the pubs. We were going here, we were going there, and none of it interests me anymore.
No, what used to be fun is now mundane. What was fun before is now mundane. Unfortunately,
I shouldn't be here.
It does interrupt. Even today, it does interrupt. So, like, Halloween literally was just yesterday. Literally just it. And that's something that maybe we can relate to. Is I can't stand it. I really can't stand it. It's just, to me, it's just a time where you're literally just spending. It's not something that Christmas is the same, but just something grinds on my soul nearly. This whole idea of celebrating Halloween, trick-or-treating, stuffing your face, kids with sugar and candy, and knocking on strangers' doors that you don't know these strangers.
Can I ask you a question?
It's ludicrous to me. It's completely ludicrous, and I can't engage into this normal life anymore. That everybody else around me is like, oh yeah, let's all have a party. Ask a question, Roxanne. Otherwise, I'll go off on another time.
Oh, no worries. If you had to, so say now you're awake to multiple truths, and this is for the chat room and Karen, for you as well.
We'd never go.
You're invited to a social event, all right? The social event you're invited to. That you're hazarding a guess if anyone there is going to know they're not living on a ball. And then you're invited to a social event with your friends and family where everyone knows they're not on a ball. Which place are you going to have more fun in? You're going to have more fun in the place that everyone knows they're not on a ball, right?
Yeah,
Which is why
true.
this is why people that are truthers, I think, somewhat subliminally or subconsciously, somewhat remove themselves bit by bit, and it's like a week turns into a month, that turns into a year. And before you know it, you've either been excluded by your friends for not partaking in the mundane activities they want to partake in, or you've excluded yourself by not wanting to partake in those mundane activities. Sorry, I'm just letting my dog out. One second.
Yes, no, who is that?
No,
Let me out. Let me out. I don't care if you're
mine. I think mine's still here at the table, and she snores. I know she's with my daughter now, but she snores. I'm thinking, I hope people don't think that's me snoring. I've gone to.
But yeah. Would you rather go to an event that is full of people that know they're not on a ball? Would you rather go to an event where you're hazarding a guest where there may be one person?
Exactly.
So would you say, I don't even know if I should say the word on a hangout. Don't even know. But let's say, I'll give a little meaning instead of the word. I'm a bit apprehensive to say the word. Would you not say that at some point in the timeline moving forward, to get from a state that we're now, where we're living in a society that does not know the truth, to living in a society that knows the truth, would you not say that there would need to be some kind of foreseeable change of seat of government or social order in flavor of a new system of some sort? I'm not going to say the word itself because I don't know if that's going to be some kind of censored word.
Oh God, no! You wouldn't upset me. You might upset the panel.
It begins with an R. It has a V in it, an L in it, and ends in an N. I don't know. I don't really want to say the word.
Can you say the letters again?
I'll spell it. REVOLUTION.
Oh, right, of course. Yeah. I'm not.
We're the new. What do you call them? I was just going to think of the word now. We're the new anarchists, aren't we?
Yeah, or maybe some different words. A turn, a rotation, a twist, revolution of some sort. Revolution.
You have to be careful in case, Yeah, you have to be careful what you say. Even
you do. I'm sorry, Karen. I didn't want to do that. I thought, is that as bad as saying some other words? I don't know if I can get away with saying that word.
That was really a bad word, though. I think it would have been all right.
It could be a bad word as far as the new censorship's concerned, though, because I've been hearing some stuff. I don't know about anybody else, but certain people are getting arrested and shift for inciting things that are some kind of. Listen, this is a disclaimer. I'm not saying that anybody should, I don't even want to say the words, but I'm not saying that anyone should overthrow government. I'm not saying that should be the case. But is anyone else aware of the legalities of publicly talking about that? Is anyone else aware of that?
I'm not aware of it. I'm not aware of it.
Because I am. And that's why I'm not trying to go there. But apparently, look into it. Don't take my word for it. Anyone, look into that for yourself. Yeah.
Are you serious?
You're not allowed to talk about. Yeah, well, I suppose it does. Maybe it doesn't look very good, does it? If you're inciting something.
No, if you're publicly talking about overthrowing a government, isn't that some kind of isn't that illegal to incite things like that? Isn't that classed as it's not classed as treason, is it?
Depends in what context you're talking about.
Well, I think it's classed as
okay. Let's talk about. There's this book that I'm writing about overthrowing a government. It's a completely and utterly fictional book, right? Based on some
fictional, stressing fiction, right there.
Completely fictional book, right? That I'm writing about these characters that overthrow a government. Can I say that?
Okay, yes, that was you said fiction. I heard fiction in there. Sarah, so we're all good.
There you go. That's all you need.
I'm just saying, Mark De Andres in the chat room. Right. I said, if somebody, no, I'm not overthrowing any government, Mark. Okay. Shout out to the chat room. I'm not trying to overthrow any kind of government out here. Big love and hugs to the chat room. I love you all, but that is not where I'm coming from. Please, I do not want the 5-0 at my door within an hour. Guys, come on.
Oh God, this is hilarious.
My dog's even gone on a mad one listening to me saying that. He's going crazy, going, shush, mum, shush, quiet. Don't say anything else.
Oh God, fuck's sake.
I'm sorry, I'll be quiet now.
That's the only way you get away with saying
that is if we stop voting for them, because that's how we're taking our consent away to allow them. you don't really understand or know about. Once you vote them in, you're saying, yes, you can do anything you like.
Hashtag walk away.
I think the only way is to not vote. And do you know something? I was somebody who voted on everything because we're taught, I bet you are in your generation as well, Sarah, maybe, that they fought for our right to vote. You need to vote.
I've only voted once in my how many years? It's 12 years? 12. Once I've voted. Once. Is that
Once
bad?
more than me.
It was for a laugh.
Now I went to this I went to one polling booth. I wanted to I just spoiled my paper, but I said to her, why isn't there something which says that I voted, but I don't want any of these people, so I'm doing like a no vote for them, but I'm voting? And this girl went, oh yeah, that's a good idea, I never thought about that. And I thought that's where they've got our whole society, really, is nobody thinks about all these things. They've got you thinking other things instead.
Yep.
You're not looking at, no one. So it becomes like a law when none of it's law. It's just how they've managed. I think it's disgusting what they've done to us. Utterly disgusting.
It is. It's criminal. It's criminal.
I think it is.
It's
I call it. Yeah, am I allowed to say that? I call it treason. What they've done to us.
Yeah.
This isn't just an accident, is it? It's not an accident.
You've just got to look at the laws we're governed by to know that, right?
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say. We're not in a democracy. I'm telling you, we're not.
No. We're living in like a WF wrestling situation where what's portrayed to us is what's going on behind the closed doors. You just look at the Antarctic Treaty to know that there's international mass genocide going on. With countries that hold hands for that Antarctic Treaty. They're pals over that. They are killing each other in front of the general public. But behind closed doors, it's all mum's the word about the 60th parallel.
That's
North and South, or both sides. Yep. So, the more we consent to that, we're just buying into it. Just buying into it. I think we need, like Marilyn Spirit Level said, it's not going to happen until everyone hits the streets. Everyone needs to pluck up the courage that knows this truth and not stay in the closet about it anymore. Take it to work. Take the flack. Take it to your social circles. Take the flack. Like Karen said, remove the ego. Take the cloak of ego off and realize the longer you hold that ego, the more you're buying into the system. You need to walk away from it. Just walk away. Walk away and stop consenting to it in whatever possible way you can. We're all still banged to rights because we've got to pay taxes, haven't we? Or they'll take us to court. So they've got us by the gonads one way or the other, which is why we need to walk away on everything else. Absolutely everything else. You only have to look at what happened with Google today. Did you see how many people walked out?
What happened?
Listen, if we could have numbers like that for Flat Earth, everyone go and take a look at the stories that were put out about Google today, the walkouts internationally. They did an international walkout, and it was hundreds of thousands of people on strike today from Google. There was one office in London, and it looked like
Roxanne, you mean Google's not just robots? Like whenever we write to them,
yeah, believe it or not, they've got some human beings working for them. I don't know if any of them have got a conscience, but they do. Apparently, they work there because apparently the mainstream media pumped out some images today. Well, take a look and see if you buy into it or not.
Okay.
It's just the numbers were just insane. And I'm on social media like you all are, and I didn't really hear any talk about this on the run up to it. So either that walkout was very, very hush hush, or it was a setup from the get go. One of the two. But those kind of numbers, and all it is about a charge of sexual misconduct.
Yeah,
that's all it's about. Yeah, and the images that they're putting out there about the numbers that walked out. Just looking at the overwhelming amount of people that are out on the streets, you think someone had died. You would literally think someone had died. And I'm not poo-hooing the subject if the subject is true, but obviously I take a pinch of salt with what the mainstream media is pumping out. But it was just the images, the video images of all the people. It was almost like a Trump march again. And I just thought, Google, do you have that many people working for you? Do you even, really? Just like you said, Sarah, really? It's like you said, Karen. Well, it was all bots. So, but yeah, I think, like Marilyn said, everyone's got to take it to the streets. Got to come out of the closet And if you know you're not on a spinning ball, you need to start talking about it in public, because it needs to be socially accepted to start having a civilized argument to change things. Because right now, no civilized arguments happening, because it's not even been socially accepted to talk about in the high street.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
If nobody voted for them, then that would be a vote of no confidence.
Say that again?
If people didn't vote,
Yeah.
it would be seen as a vote of no confidence.
Well, again, that's how the system's rigged, isn't it? They've got their backup plans for, you know, no votes. They've got their backup plans for this, that, and the other. So it is like you said, Karen. It's just it's all preordained to be the way they're doing it. Maybe that was the wrong choice of words, but yeah, it's just all a load of crap. I don't buy into it. I try to not consent to it every possible way.
In a sense, what you do is you just get on with your own life.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Kimmy's husband said it perfectly when I went down to visit them. Robert Spreadbury says, you know, you can't, the system won't affect you if you don't let it. And I was like, you know what? Because I was saying, I'm complaining about this, I'm complaining about that. And he was sitting there just going, just doesn't affect me. Why? Because I'm not buying into it in the first place.
Yep.
Just haven't bought into it.
If you emotionally invest into something, then it can affect you. Something I wrote in
whether you admit it to yourself or not, it does. Yeah, you're right.
It's only if you allow it to have, it's us allowing it to have an effect. We are, what's the word I'm thinking of? We are not articulating our words. That's what we said earlier on. We can't articulate what we know, and that's how they get us, because you can't articulate it. They have us because you can't. I've lost my train of thought now. What I was going to say. No, that's annoying.
It is pretty bad, though. It's on absolutely every single level, though, don't you think? It's not just one part of it that's accidentally wrong or something. It's that everything's part of this game.
And that's what that's another thing that gets us, because, you know, if you're having a conversation with someone out on the streets, they go, oh, you think everything's a conspiracy. And it's like, no.
Yeah, I do actually.
Everything's a lie,
Sorry.
Everything's
Roxanne.
a lie. It's not a conspiracy. It's a lie. You've been lied to in every possible way. And I feel like the terminology conspiracy is another kind of red flag to people that are trying to wake up. They just see conspiracy theories and think, a bunch of crackpots.
Yep.
It's not fair. It's not fair.
Oh, I know. Stab it with the conspiracy thing.
It's weird, isn't it, to be walking around sort of with the world on your shoulders, isn't it? Because that's what it is.
Karen, someone in the chat room called Jin CBR says, I'm for a legal revolution to remove government using our constitution. Nicely put. I'll second that. Where do I sign, Jin? Is there a petition? Is there an online petition? A clerical petition, please? Please email me that and I'll pop my signature on that happily.
Not that I like guns at all, but that's why they left the gun thing in for the Americans, isn't it? For that kind of constitution. But we're too far. I think I heard somewhere that they were saying we're the generation now is the most violent it's ever been.
Oh, wow. Since what? Since what records began? 400 years ago?
Again.
Since when? Since what are they comparing it to? But yes, probably.
Maybe even 50 years ago.
When there was World War I and World War II?
Yeah, they were pretty violent, weren't they?
What about the wars before those? I think it's, you know what I think is very interesting is this guilt game they have us in. The guilt game is one I managed to get out of, I don't know, a good few months back. I think I opened my eyes up to that one. I think who was it? Was it Roxanne? You said a minute ago is not a minute ago, a while back. He says how they make you feel bad because obviously people died in the past of wars, and I'm probably going to be saying something to piss somebody off. I know I am probably going to say something to piss somebody off. Is this guilt that people have died for us to be having these rights today? But that in itself is a guilt trip. You know, that is like a parent saying to you, hey, I did this to you. I did this so that you could have this. And you're like, well, whoa. I wasn't even there to consent to that happening. That was it wasn't a case of that was your choice because they were forced into that situation. Those people who fought in those wars, that was not their choice. In no way can those people be accountable, I don't think, for the choices they made back then, because they weren't wise enough to know what was going on around them.
Yeah,
I do wonder
they did
what
die,
would
happen but they didn't die for the
today.
right reason.
Yeah,
Correct.
I wonder what would happen today if that same situation was put. I know we have people going over to war right now. I know there's a soldier. I'm pretty sure there is. I don't know the ins and outs of what's going on in the world because I shut off from it. But I just wonder what would happen if they tried doing the same thing now. If they tried sending thousands of people to go and fight for a war. I wonder how many people would say, okay, yeah, we'll go, and how many people would have a massive, massive uprising and go, no, screw yourself.
Oh, what, like, you mean like the way they sent people to war and it was only the ill and infirm that weren't sent? Do you mean like compulsory?
Yeah, exactly.
Like
it was compulsory. Back then,
yeah.
they did not have a choice. They did not have a choice whether to go to war or not.
Having said that though, Sarah, there's still some countries that do national service. I know that I've got family that live in the Balearics, and even in the Balearics, they get the teenagers to do national service.
What I mean is here. What I mean is here in a society here where people are woken up. I mean, I'm not saying that we all are, but there's a majority of us that have woken up. What would happen if they tried doing the same I'm just imagine the uproar that it would. And I can see they're trying to do it. They are trying to goad us into this war and goad us into oh, look, this is what's happening. We need you to go to war. We need to go and slaughter more people. And then the guilt trip comes along of, oh, the world is overpopulated, where there's too many human beings for the earth to survive. It's this guilt trip. That's all I ever hear today is this, you shouldn't be alive. You should feel guilty for being. That's all I ever hear.
You're lucky to be here. If it wasn't for us, you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't have the life you have now and all that. Yeah.
Seriously, man.
Yeah.
Chill. No. I'm not buying into. That's how I got to a while back. And I was like, no. You don't hold me responsible for something that happened before my time. You know, and it's a guilt trip that is put on children from such a young age in school.
Well, that's why they're taught about it when they're like 7 years old, right?
So horrible. Yeah, that infuriates me.
I think I was in class 3 or class 4 when they taught us about the world wars. They taught us about the world wars before they'd even taught us how to read and write properly.
Yeah, they didn't. They do it in nursery. They do it in nursery. Yeah. They'll do it in nursery. They'll take you out to go and see the war memorial or something. Look at the people who died before the war. I'm like, whoa, seriously. I'm probably going to piss a lot of people off saying this, but that's just my.
Sarah, I understand. I just feel sorry for all those people that did die and all the soldiers there who don't realise they're not fighting for what they think they are. Well, they're not.
No.
They think that it's a job. They're there to help, blah blah. They're not doing it for those reasons. They don't realise. No, but it's that kind of. It's that they have got us locked into this frame of mind by saying, well, if you say that, what we're saying is if you in any way speak negatively of somebody who fought in a war, you're bad. You know, you're locked in, you can't speak freely. There's no freedom of being able to say, hey, look, I don't agree with that war and what happened. Instantly, you're made out to be this bad person who says, whoa, those people died for us to be here. You can't talk negatively. You're not talking negatively of the person who went to war. You're saying what those people were put through to go to war, and they did it without having any understanding of what was actually really going on in the bigger picture. The bigger picture, they were unaware of it. The really sad thing is they've actually managed to turn everybody against everybody. Yes. It's not just colour difference, black, white, whatever it is. It's they've made sure that everybody hates everybody roughly.
Yeah. Does it not make you think what is happening now? If that is what they did 100 years ago, which it was 100 years ago, what are they doing now? What war mind games are they playing on us now if they managed to do that 100 years ago? How much are we
zombies more, haven't they? Because we're all watching the television.
Yeah, well, not the ones woken up, but
not for those that have woken up, but you know what I mean. They've got us dumbed down watching. They've got us terrified. There's going to be a war any day. I mean, how many days have they talked about war? We're going to war. There could be a war. Could be a war. Could be a war. And then don't forget, in January we had 2 nuclear threats, didn't we? Hawaii and Japan, wherever it was, wasn't it?
Yep.
Nobody really talks about that. Like, we've never had announcements that nuclear bombs are on. When have you ever heard in your lifetime? I haven't.
Fear-mongering, order out of chaos.
That's the one.
I
Fear-mongering.
felt so sorry for this couple. They just got there off their honeymoon and she was pregnant in Hawaii. And she was actually filming when suddenly she went, oh my God, look at this message. I mean, it's like a horror movie.
Yeah.
Imagine she's pregnant as well. And like, I'm not saying she's the only pregnant one, but it was just there at that point. And she's going, oh my God, what do we do? And oh, it's just like, and all of it was fake anyway.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's just their fear-mongering to create order.
Terrorising, isn't it?
What they've been doing for.
You could have put her into early labour or something.
Oh, bless. Right, I'm going to have to go, Karen. It's my time is up.
Your time is up. Oh,
my time is up. I need to go and talk to my American lady. Hopefully, she's going to get a bumming gear. I hope so. I can get this caught up with the
book. The book. Isn't it?
Yeah, she's been off the grid for about 6 weeks, so she's got 6 weeks of plot to catch up on and stuff. So that's a lot happens in 6 weeks. So she needs to get a bumming gear. Hopefully, I didn't piss anybody off in the chat. I wasn't watching the chat. As I say, hopefully nothing I've said in the last 10 minutes or so pissed anyone off.
No,
not my intention.
Sarah,
that's all right though.
Don't worry. And I didn't get a chance to say goodbye to Lady Co-Pilot.
No,
but
it's a shame.
goodbye, Sarah, and thank you so much.
Yes, and Roxanne, it was lovely chatting with you as well, and Karen.
Yeah,
all right, guys. Yes, definitely, of course. All right, and bye to everybody in the chat as well. I'll say goodbye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye, darling.
Bye. Okay, bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Just you and me, Roxanne.
Just me and you, darling. Feels weird without Patricia being here, doesn't it?
Yeah, but she's just been having internet problems. I never understood it because she used to tell me about this thing coming on and going off and coming on and going off, and I just couldn't. I was on BT, so I just didn't get it. And now I'm on Virgin. I know exactly what she's talking about. Suddenly, I'm just sitting here, and the internet just goes for half an hour, 45 minutes. It keeps rebooting itself. That's what keeps happening to her.
It's really weird. Really weird.
Someone says that what it is when because it's cable. And when they do it, you're only supposed to have so many people on that box with you. But someone told me, but what they do is, it might be that when they did it, 10 people were there, and then maybe they built some flats and all that, and they stick 20, 30 people on there, and then, of course, your internet messes about. But I don't know what it is. All I know is that I understand what Patricia goes through now, and now I've got Virgin.
So you're not happy with it then? I'm not happy with BT. I've had BT, but they've let me down various times.
They're really in a sense, they're the best one to be on for speed and everything. But I don't. Well, do we like any of these companies anymore? This poor bloke, I listened to him today. He got through, and I just felt so sorry for him. He was ringing up. I went to work, and he was ringing something up, and he got put on hold, and then he got put through to someone, and then he was talking to them. The line cut, and then he had to start all over again, and this took about 45 minutes. That's the kind of life we're living in when you want to deal with anything.
Yeah, as soon as you want to engage and deal with something, you're sent through a big rigmarole.
You expect that there's a company, and a big company, say like a bank, Lloyd's or whatever, that, you might not get through all the time, but every time you got to go on a waiting thing. And the thing is, I think it's disgusting because they make you pay while you're waiting, even though they're saying you're on hold, you're still being charged.
Yeah. It's perpetual. I
mean, some of us have got it in our contracts, haven't we? It's free in our contracts, but not everybody, not pay as you go. And I just think
pay to complain or sort out problems insane.
By the time I get through to someone, I'm in death mode. I want a manager.
Exactly. I think a lot of people can relate to that, Karen. Serious. I definitely can.
And then, usually when you have to explain these things back to people, I'm like almost in tears because it's just so frustrating to have to explain it all back and relive it, explain it to someone.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the kind of society we live in.
Yeah, I often use the little online chat thing instead of phoning up now. I find that to be a bit quicker. I don't know if it's a bot or a real human being I'm talking to, but they normally sort the problems quite quickly.
And also, it is a weird place to be, isn't it? All these things you put your trust in just don't work or are lies. Like me, I did an ombudsman case. I won all my other ones, but this one, it's not always about money for me. It's the principle. But this one, I know what happened to me, and they didn't go in my favour. But I realised what they do is they make you wait 4 years, and then they say, due to the time, we can't help you.
They get you out. Yep.
So actually, they're paying all these government bodies to do nothing. So coming into Flat Earth, it was just obvious there's just so much wrong. But it's horrible to think it's everything. I don't get it. It's so nasty, Roxanne.
It is. Like I said, I think it's criminal, and it's daylight robbery. And what's worse is that we have to, to part and parcel, we do consent to it because we need the service. It's like
it's a bit hard not to really live in it in a way. And I don't think money's a bad thing. And the thing that's upset me is that everybody's made money the most important thing when it's not. It was the people, and that's the problem, isn't it?
Yeah, the people have been lost in the mix, and it's just monetary gain. And our lives have been made like that as well, right? If you want to have a decent life, you're going to have quite hefty overheads. So that, the need for that monetary gain, it's not luxury, it's necessity.
It's almost impossible to live in it because all you're doing is working to pay the flipping bills.
Correct. And then we bring
fun anymore.
Yeah, and then we bring children into this.
I mean, the council tax is turning into a mortgage. It is.
Yeah, big time. The council tax in the borough that I live in is insane. It's the third most expensive borough to live in London. The third. And
then you think, well, with all this money that's coming in monthly, what the hell are they doing with it? Sorry, some of it I really do. We've got potholes all over the road. And the things, what people don't realise is that builders are building all the time, and those builders are also giving the council money. And in fact, what happens is that probably happens is a roundabout or a bit of infrastructure turns up, as well as the housing estate. So that's another reason why they allow the housing estate, because it helps the council or something. And what I don't like is, maybe 10, 15 years ago, everybody was going, the councils don't have any power. And it was all with the MP, but now it's swapped. Now the MP will say, well, I can't help you with any of that. You've got to go to the council or an ombudsman. And I've just told you, ombudsmans are crap and don't work properly. And we're left with the council and they're all whatever. But and now it's too far the other way.
Yeah, it's all pass the buck syndrome. We'll just pass you through to this department, and then you check it. It's not user friendly. It's not helping. Does that make sense? It's not there to help the people. You only have to go through any kind of council department to realise how much of what do you call it?
The thing is, we do have, for the size we are, there are quite a few people living. I say in the United Kingdom, there's still quite a few people living on this small piece of land. There's more people living here than in Australia, isn't there?
Well, I say I don't know about the numbers. I don't know how
that's far. What they say. That's what they say.
Yeah. There's more people living here than there, and it just, again, you just think to yourself, as you're saying it, I'm thinking to myself, how does one walk away from this? Is there a way to walk away from this? Because there's people that live off grid, Karen, but how does one really walk away from the system and still live?
I think that, like I said, you turn your tellies off. We keep communicating. John Smith goes out, you go out, we do our things, and hopefully over time, more and more people join, more and more get-togethers, and slowly we just turn our back on it, because that's what Aaron's got, the Looming Project, which is hopefully starting soon, and this is another way to look after ourselves.
Great. That sounds good.
Things are being in place, but in reality, it's only a few years since this wake up. But all of us who've woken up just want it so badly now. It's getting a bit frustrating, isn't it? A little bit that more people aren't waking up.
I agree with Marilyn. Numbers. We need numbers. We need more numbers. We need more people to come out from the shadows and talk about it in public. Put it into your social circles at work. Put it into your social circles.
But you know why people won't? I mean, look what they've done to Lady Co-Pilot. So this is why people are frightened to come out.
I'm right there with you, Karen. I had to hand in my notice as well, so I'm right there with you on that one. I know, but you know, we still stand testament to the fact that it's the problem's not going away just because some of us might lose. You know, I lost my job. There's no getting away from it. I lost my comfortable salary. I lost my comfortable life because I decided to make content and speak publicly about it. But there comes a time when you have to kind of go, well, is this whole ride going to be comfortable? Probably not. It's not going to be a walk in the park. Yeah, some sacrifices are going to have to be made. For me, those sacrifices were monetary straight away. What was a really comfortable life 8 months ago is not a comfortable life now. I've had to make some massive changes to my life. And that was after a decade of working in the construction industry. And other than maternity leave, I've been in work since I came out of education. So for me, you know, the fact that everything ground to a halt was just another part and parcel of the process of my pursuit of truth. I realized, okay, it's going to get to crunch point eventually, right? You're going to talk about things publicly to the point where it gets a bit on top and it comes back on you. And if it does, how does one handle it? Just plow on through it, because that's again, the system's designed to do that. People talk about being targeted individuals. I think, you know, a couple of levels below that is, you know, people like, you know, Harry was there once. He didn't want to say who he was because he realized, right, this could quite well very affect my living, how I pay for the roof over my head. And I suppose you could analogize that to someone saying, well, it's right on your own doorstep now. It's all
most bizarre, isn't it? If I said I was I'm not, by the way, but if I said I was a Catholic and you said you were a Protestant, you're not going to lose your job, are you? Huh? You say you're a flat earther. That's it. People like don't get jobs, get fired. It's ridiculous.
Well, you know, I think for as many people that know that the Earth's not a spinning ball through space, that have not got their jobs, there's still as many people that have come out in public at work and do have their jobs. Yeah.
It's a bit of a shame there's not a few more, say, bigger names in helping us now, isn't it? If you know what I mean.
Yeah, but I mean, I think Marilyn and Jin in the chat room, I think that's where we're going with this. I think the only, like, it's not a pipe dream. The reality of it is, in order for this to be socially accepted as quickly as possible, as many people as possible need to go out there in public and have human-to-human interaction. And I know it sounds pathetic to say this, but that's one of the first things I said in one of my first hangouts 8 months ago. I came out and said, listen, the internet's great. Don't worry, the internet's a brilliant service. And to a certain extent, I think most of us that are watching content like yours, content like mine, content like I think a lot of people that are watching this content are people that are already awake. So I class myself as a member of the choir of awake people. But I do think the choir, including myself, needs a certain extent of preaching to. But beyond that remit of this you know, collaborative of content makers that we have online, we need it to go out onto the streets, because the streets, while there's still free speech to a certain extent, the streets cannot be censored like the internet.
Do you find problems when you're setting up anywhere? Has Harry found any problems setting up anywhere? Just wondered, because you know, then we're not even supposed to be in groups of people, are we?
Listen, I think I've had countless times where the police have rolled past us and called us a breath of fresh air, not told us to pack up shop. There's been a few places that have legalities on the streets where they're not permitting people to hand out leaflets and they're not permitting people to put out banners or stand in a group. But for the most part, I think I've just seen over the last 2 months, other than a couple of destinations that made it difficult for the guys out on the street, pretty much everywhere in the UK was pretty much accepting to all those banners and leaflets being handed out and public speaking. We had Dave Mennell at the top of his lungs in a couple of towns and cities, and he was not removed by the police or told to shut up or told to be quiet. And, you know, there was a brilliant example yesterday of a girl that came over. I can't remember if it was Harry or Jason she came over to, and she was like, you know what, I'm really not there with this subject, but thank you so much for coming out to the streets and this, that, and the other. And there's a lot of people that will come over, and it's in America as well. It's international. People like Marilyn who go out will know this as well. Because you're out onto the streets, there's people that will come to the banner, get red pilled, where the internet would have kept all of that away from them, all of it. The whole it would never come up on their recommendations. It will never, you know, certain links that we're sharing They're not getting shared.
I'm pretty sure they've got it in for all of us. I don't understand how some people can get millions of views, and then, you know, we've been on our own hangouts, haven't we, where our chat rooms are telling us all the likes have gone and they never put them back.
That's right. And when you post a link into another social circle, yeah, see, like when you posted it into Facebook, yeah, I've had proof from one of my friends that she cannot see that link on her timeline. And I know she's on my timeline because I can see her comment above it. Now, she's not involved in any flat earth groups. She's not even a flat earther. She tolerates me at best. But I said, did you see that link I posted? And she went, no. And I was like, no, you must have. It was public. No, didn't see it. What do you mean you haven't seen it? Go up the timeline, please. I've gone up the timeline. Now she's screen sharing with me. I'm looking at her timeline and my timeline. I can see my link on my timeline. It's not there on hers. And I've made it public for everyone to view. So for me, I saw Killer Beast buy Bitcoin. He shared a video today showing about the censorship. It's real. The struggle is real, people. These links are not getting shared where you think they're getting shared. They're getting ghosted. And the people that you've already connected with see the links. But the people you're not connected with don't see those links. And you've got them on open. You haven't even put them on private. Test it out, Karen. Anyone in the chat room. Test it out with one of your family members that's on social media. So say you've got a family member that's on Facebook, right? And that family member is not interested in flat earth whatsoever, okay? Just post a random link for a flat earth video on Facebook. Just any random link at some point in it. Go on the phone to your friend and go and see what I'm saying about timelines. Look at your timeline, look at your friend's timeline and see how your link's not there. Then phone one of your flat earth friends and say, can you see the link? And they'll say, yeah, Karen, I can see the link. It's there. Maddox. Don't take my word for it. Go look into that for yourself. We're getting so badly censored with link sharing. It's disgusting. And that whole going to Congress and then speaking about flat earth to the American government, talking about they're going to put a little box in the corner stating that it's not actually true. They didn't ever do it. There is no boxes in the corner going, this flat earth information is incorrect. They've done it in other ways, but the other ways they've done it are not obvious, are they? So, you know, I think we need to share that kind of information and make people aware. Go look into it. Killer Beast by Bitcoin. He's uploaded a video that's very, very helpful. If you go check that video and clue yourself up on it and then go and look into it.
Well, I'm pretty sure even Vinny TV, he'll make a little video or something and he'll say, look at this. Look at it. Yeah. He notices it happening on his.
Sharing it is making everyone aware of it. End of story. The first thing that people can do in helping share awareness is liking and sharing, and keep doing it. And if you can take that share into your contacts list offline and start texting people the links, that's also a good way of doing it. Texting the links, because then they'll get.
You have to be careful on Facebook, because then they have you down as some kind of spammer.
Exactly. That's why I'm saying take it off the internet. So take the link on the internet off of the internet and start texting it. Do you understand where I'm coming from? Right, so when you get Facebook, if you've got as many people in your contacts on your texts as you do on social media, or I take things off of Facebook and share it either on Hangouts or Facebook Messenger. So you take the link off and then they go back onto the social media via another avenue. And then Facebook's not calling you out for being a spammer. But either way, I suppose there's ways around it. It's just about all sharing the information of what works. People talk about learning from their mistakes, but I think in this subject, we need to really learn from our successes far more than our mistakes, because our successes are far less than the mistakes we're making.
Nicely put, Roxanne.
Cheers.
So, I suppose we've been going for nearly 2.5 hours. I don't know how much longer you want to go on for, but maybe you just want to repeat what's happening for you, what's happening with Speaker Corner and what you're doing on Saturday. And
awesome. So yeah, Saturday is the day of all days. We want to really encourage everybody to unify under the one common knowledge that we're not living on a spinning ball. We agree that some people have got models, some people have got ideas about things that maybe not everybody agrees on, but when we reverse engineer it to the singular, we all know we're not on a spinning ball. So we'd love people to unify for a day on Saturday. The awesome Nora is doing a Irish meetup in Ireland, and she's got a guest speaker, the awesome Paul on the Plane. We're going to be doing a live link up with them. So I want to, not just my event, to anyone that's living in Ireland and is within proximity of that, please check out the, Karen, do you have any info on that? I'll text you some info on that as well. I see Paul on the Plane is in the chat room. I don't know if he's got any information that you could share out in the chat about that meetup that's happening, but that's a, you know, a decent sized meetup. I believe it's in a hotel. I'm not sure of the name of it.
Yeah, send it to me. So I don't really know much about that one. Well, I don't know much about that one, but yeah, sorry.
That's an Irish meetup that's going on, and as I said, Paul on the Plane is going to be a guest speaker at that meetup.
Wow, oh, that's why he's going to Ireland. I know he's going to Ireland.
So yeah, that's going to be included in the event on Saturday as well. It's from 4 p.m. and we are taking over a high school for the day. Yeah, we thought it was a really good place to kind of how do I put it? I think really and truthfully,
do they know what's happening, Roxanne?
Do they know what that is? The $64,000 question. Can I answer that publicly? Do they know? Okay, so yes and no. Yes and
okay.
I'll leave it at that. Robin coined a beautiful phrase for the event, and we ran with that, and we managed to get the venue signed off this week. They had us holding out for a long time. They had us holding out to the point where the team was almost thinking, right, do we need a backup plan? Do we need to go for the other venue now? And just at the last minute, literally just at the last minute, they came through and confirmed. So we were able to go through and promote it. But it was really frustrating because we really could have been promoting this event from a couple of weeks ago, which we were actually. We were telling you guys that it was happening, but we had to say venue to be confirmed. And I think it would have helped massively if we could have given everyone the full information from a good few weeks back. But the good thing is that it's happening. It's going to be at Villiers High School, and that is in Southall in London. If you're traveling by train, the nearest train station is Southall Station. There's various buses that go from Cranford, Havelock Estate, Hayes, Heston, Cranford, Ealing Hospital, Northolt. If you're traveling by car and you're coming from the north, come from the M25 exit at junction 13, join the A312 north. If you're traveling from the south, it's junction 16 off the M25. And if you're traveling from central London or East London, just go for the A40, which turns into the A4020. And basically, Karen, we just want everybody to celebrate the completion of 8 weeks, 53 locations, and
that's
wave
a
of
mammoth task that Harry's done. Well, and anybody that's been on the tour as well, that's mammoth.
Yeah, massive. It started a wave of conversations now that can't be stopped. Lisa, who was out with the guys the other day, she broke away from the pack to go and get herself a drink, and she walked into a shop. She said everyone in there was talking about it, like not in a whole piss taking way. Everyone was like discussing it, like a little hub. And it resonated with me straight away because I said, well, that doesn't happen off of a viral video. A viral video doesn't come out and everyone in the coffee shop's talking about it. It doesn't happen from seeing a Facebook post. You don't get a whole Starbucks talking about something because of a Facebook post. No one's going to walk in there with a phone and change the dynamic of the whole shop with a conversation like that. So in my mind, even when I was in Stoke-on-Trent, I went into the coffee shop with John Thor. And as we walked into the shopping mall, the security guards, they were eyeballing the banners because it was a massive presence that we had. And everyone inside the coffee shop in there was looking out the window and giving their 2 cents worth at their own little tables. Not everyone in the shop talking together, but it started a wave of awareness, like I said, that cannot be censored. What the eyes and ears have seen and heard cannot be unseen and cannot be unheard. So the powers that be, the deep state, the cabal, whatever you want to call them, they can't censor the streets. They'd have to start changing laws and doing madness, which is why I think we need to be quick, because it won't take long for them to catch up on that. Even telling people to go and search Global Eye. When you see the amount of flat earth information real information that comes up when you Google search Globelite. It's not full of disinformation yet. Yet being the operative word. Yeah, as soon as they clock on to that, they're going to start changing it. David Gessner from Flat Earth 101, he's told me the traffic on his website has gone up in an insane way. Yeah. Jason Disbury, who runs FE Start, he's told me the traffic for that website has gone up in an insane way. The Globelite website shut down because we had too much traffic on it. The bandwidth, he had to increase the bandwidth on it and everything. So, you know, multiple news agencies have reported on it as the guys have gone through the country. You know, the press are going to be there on Saturday as well. They're going to be documenting the whole event. We're also going to be doing a live link from the event. We're going to be streaming the whole event anyway. And so you'll be able to see the international live link. We're going to have some people from all across the international flat plane of existence, including the island meetup. So it's going to be
Paul on the plane at 3 p.m. for that one.
Yes, his meetup starts at 3 p.m. Ours is just an hour behind. We're starting at 4, and it's going to be a flat packed Saturday. Can I say that? A flat packed Saturday.
You can, and you did. You can say it again if you like.
Flat packed Saturday, people. Come one, come all. If you know you're not on a ball.
Say that again, Roxanne.
One, come all. If you know you're not on a ball.
Yay.
Yeah. And like I said, look, people have had their disagreements. You know, I think it's safe to say, can we just let bygones be bygones for one day? Let's unify on the fact that we know we're not on a spinning ball flying through space as what we've been taught, and let's go from there. We've got the press's attention. Let's use it to our advantage. Let's show a little bit of solidarity, a little bit of humility, push our differences aside, and just stand together on the fact that we've been lied to in the worst way possible, man. The worst way possible.
Hear, hear, Roxanne.
Cheers, my darling. Cheers. And yeah, after this hangout, I'm going to go live and I'm going to give everyone an update from Glastonbury and Yeovil today, and give a little bit more information for everyone on there about the event on Saturday. And I'll send you the promo links from myself.
Please do. So it's probably good that we're ending now anyway, because you've got to go back online. But can I just say, in the flat room, there's a flat accord music, Mad Pieman, Gin, Glenn, Paul on the plane, Astral, Marilyn, Musicians for Truth, Cosmic Cat. Anybody else want to shout out before we go?
Yeah, massive shout out in the chat room. Big love to Cosmic Cat as well.
Marilyn
Wisby, the lovely lady Marilyn. Listen, she's done awesome. She did a few days on the Globelite tour, and she was like a powerhouse, man. She was feeding people to various people on the activism. We had Nora out, Lisa were out. The 3 ladies were out.
Lovely Marilyn.
Big time. She's a trooper. Big love to you, Marilyn. And Jin CBR1. Awesome love to Jin CBR1. He's tuned in from Japan, guys.
Richard Burke. Just another shout out. What we say?
I learned an interesting fact from Jin CBR1 the other day when I was talking to him. He's living in Japan just now. And guess what they do in the local supermarkets out there, guys?
What's that?
Give out free alkaline water.
Hey, that's good.
How is that? Like, what is going? Like, no wonder they live longer and have like healthier lives. Like, putting it out there. How are they giving people free alkaline water? Did anyone else know that, or am I just real slow with that one?
I didn't know that. Shout out for Mad Pieman.
Oh, shout outs to the chat room. Massive love to everyone. So yeah, after this, Karen, I'm gonna get ready, and within about 10 minutes, I'll go live and do my update.
Can we just say goodbye off air, by the way, Roxanne? I just want to ask you something.
Yeah.
But anyway, thank you everybody for listening in. I hope, unfortunately, like I say, Leisha had the pole fell off her roof, so she couldn't come on because she's got no internet. We had our Patricia for a little bit, but then she went and she's been having loads of internet problems. Becky was also had an appointment which her husband didn't know because he agreed for her to come on the hangout. And obviously Lady Co-Pilot, Sarah, Roxanne, everybody in the chat room, thank you so much. Great evening. Lots of love, everybody.
Big love, guys. Take care.
Bye, darlings.